I'm glad the Peanuts didn't hear that conversation.
Yeah, it says go, so you might as well.
Yeah, we're going. We definitely go. If only they could hear what the conversation was.
Uh,
Oh, look at
yeah,
all
If
it's
the
probably
only.
best they not know.
peanuts out. Yeah, best they don't know. Why are you seeing it in black and white,
Oh,
John? Oh, the regulars are all there. Carl, Zebulon,
yeah.
Cam, Cool, Fred, Purple.
Even Gary's here already.
Oh, Gary, where's Gary? Where are you, Gary? You there? Where? I can't scroll up
Gary
that far.
Wavenga's in there.
Where's Gary?
And and there's a
Oh, there you are.
naked purple rhymes with orange.
Yeah, I fixed up Purple. Hey, Gary. Hey, Mr. Ball. Thank God it's flat, I think I've seen somewhere before.
Yeah, he's in.
He wants his dose of Lindsay. Well, hopefully we can
Yeah.
get Lindsay because he's been a bit slack lately, so you're going to have to speak to him, thank God it's flat, and find out what's going on.
I could do with a good giggle today. Is he going to get his boob out again? I wonder.
No, he hasn't been doing them lately.
Oh, wasn't he?
I
boobs.
could always do a replay of one of
What
the ones where
boobs?
he's got the boobs.
Is it a boob or is it a donut? I don't know. Could be either.
He does boobs and donuts.
Yeah,
And orifices.
and vortexes.
We're gonna get a strike if you carry on like this at the moment. You know that, right? You get a community strike. We were talking about boobs, and then Alan just takes it down another level to orifices. Orifices.
I could have used the S word,
You could have done.
although of course not all of those are bad, and we have lots of them.
So you guys have got a couple of you have got the special key to the special place where the stream topic is down in admin, but not everyone. Okay.
So we've got Paul's name, American physicist who helped understand the atomic process responsible for the properties of matter, considered the father of the H-bomb.
Yeah,
I thought we
I
were supposed
know.
to write these answers to Paul.
It's
Yeah.
not the name I thought immediately.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a private DM to him in the internal. Oh,
I thought it was going to be Oppenheimer, but obviously it's not.
It's not.
nah, there's another guy. How many letters?
It's another
Do I
guy.
have to
Is
pay
it?
attention again?
Is it another guy, Terry? Really?
Yeah, it's another guy.
Yeah.
It's surely not.
And I notice it's H bombs, not A bombs.
Yeah.
Ah, there's the clue. There you go. Okay.
I did know it, but my memory's not gonna get it to me.
The lapse rate, hey?
Yep.
Just remind me again, Paul,
Oh, come
what
on.
was
That,
the lapse
that
rate?
answer from Carl was pretty good. It was pretty close.
My brain I broke.
Oh, while they're thinking of that,
Carl says, "Gravity goo, my brain are broke." I know that.
Yeah.
I know that feeling well.
What? Even before the quiz?
I know. Yeah. It usually happens after your quiz.
I like the quiz. I learned stuff.
John Rack's got an answer. I don't know if that's the right answer or not, Paul.
It is.
Well, there you go. Well done, John. Another Google expert, John. Like me.
Yeah.
I have not yet begun to Google.
No. I was just too lazy. I couldn't be bothered.
Oh, it's one of those Britannica ones, Alan. Remember I opened up one of them before and it didn't let me open it?
Oh.
Ah, bugger. It opened up for me before when I looked at it and I thought, okay, if I do the same trick again, will I get it to open this time? No, it didn't. I'm not going to get it to open this time. That was the article I wanted to use.
I think you've got a good 15 to 20-second delay between us and the live stream, Terry, I think. Or is it me?
It's
At least
you.
for me, anyway.
It's you.
That's not unusual, though.
No, it's not that unusual.
I have the page up, Terry, but
Did it work for you?
yeah, I think because it's the first time I've been there.
Yeah.
But of course,
that's
my
what
problem is it's all covered in flipping pop-up adverts.
Yeah, well, I got no adverts, so that's not my problem. Yeah, bugger. Yeah, I've got it all full screened and everything, except I haven't got the rest of the article. Because I've already been to it once, I think. That's probably what doesn't work. What was that article? That's that one. That was the better one. Two. What's the other ones I've got here? That one. I'm just going back up the list of the URLs. Waiting for that one to load. What was that one? That one's got listings, but that's not really any good. What's the next one? What's that one? National Museum of Natural History. How much has that got? Yeah, okay, we're just going to have to use that one until I can find something that's... It took a bit to find this, just these few. Everything else was only just a couple of sentences and not really much detail. What's this one? First one on my list. Well, then you got the one that's the first one on my list as well, with a couple of pictures. It's to do with the first voyage of this person, and I'm trying to get. But that's not telling me what I want to know. Yeah, it's mainly that one. The National Museum of Natural History, Alan, I think the Smithsonian one, which is the second one from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to use that one. But that other one was a little bit better. Go there. So, Department of Botany, Cook's first voyage. First voyage of Captain James Cook, 1768 to 1771. And who are our readers tonight?
I've got the page up should you want me to, but I don't know how well my diction will be tonight thanks to my slight cough.
Okay.
Well, I could read a bit if you want. I don't mind.
Well, I'll start you off with a couple of paragraphs, and then I'll read one. I'll read a couple of paragraphs, and then then you can go from there.
All right.
Okay. James Cook's first voyage circumnavigated the globe in the ship Endeavour, giving the botanists Joseph Banks and Daniel Solander the opportunity to collect plants from previously unexplored habitats. Although the Endeavour voyage was officially a journey to Tahiti to observe the 1769 transit of Venus across the Sun, it also had a more clandestine mission from the Royal Society to explore the South Pacific in the name of England. The two botanists on the expedition returned with a collection of plant specimens including an estimated 100 new families and 1,000 new specimens of plants, many of which are currently housed in the US National Herbarium. Joseph Banks, who would later become Sir Jophus Banks and President of the Royal Society, was a wealthy young scientist. He invited his close friend Daniel Solander and Swedish student of Linnaeus, working in the natural history collections of the British Museum, to join him on the Endeavour expedition. Together they acted as the naturalists on the voyage, commanding several servants and artists, including Sidney Parkinson, and outfitted with an excellent array of scientific equipment. There we go. There you are, Space Matt. You can go from there.
Oh, okay. After setting out from London, the expedition stopped briefly at Madeira, a small Portuguese island in the Atlantic Ocean, and then continued on to Rio de Janeiro on the eastern coast of Brazil. Here, the expedition encountered one of its first major setbacks when the Portuguese governor, Dom Antonio Relem de Monora Tavera, shit, I hope I got that right, refused to allow anyone from the Endeavour to come on land except to acquire the necessities. This restriction, however, didn't stop the two determined botanists, Banks and Solander, risk being arrested as spies or smugglers in order to sneak ashore to collect specimens around the city. Despite this difficulty, the expedition travelled on to Terra del Fuego, bloody hell, at the southern tip of South America, where they collected a larger number of specimens despite bitterly cold weather that killed 2 members of the crew. You want to scroll up a bit, too? In April of 1769, the expedition reached Tahiti, where they stayed until July. During this time, Banks and Solander collected over 250 plant species, including the orchids Lapierus revoluta and, oh bless us all, Arberina equitus, also known as Arberina disticha, I don't know, and the flowering plant Ophrisa solandri. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
In the
close
first
enough,
extensive botanical in the first extensive botanical study in Polynesia. After viewing the transit of Venus on June the 3rd, 1769, the expedition began mapping, exploring and collecting specimens in the relatively unknown regions of New Zealand and the eastern coast of Australia, then called New Holland. Plants collected include the large, I've got more of them, orchid Dendrobium Kalingami, also known as Winika Kalingami, the native to the western shore of New Zealand, as well as white honeysuckle. Yeah, we'll leave that. Native to the east coast of Australia. The Endeavour stopped for 9 days at a bay on the coast of Australia, where, according to Banks, the expedition's plant collection became so immensely large that it was necessary that some extraordinary care should be taken of them, at least they should spoil. Can you scroll up a bit there too? The botanists were so successful that Cook decided to name the place Botany Bay in honour of their extensive discoveries. The The Endeavour continued its voyage, mapping the eastern coast of Australia, narrowly avoiding shipwreck on the Great Barrier Reef until it re-entered known waters near New Guinea in late August 1770. During the last part of the voyage, the Endeavour stopped at the disease-ridden city of Batavia in Java.
Batavia.
Batavia, sorry, beg your pardon, thank you. Batavia in Java and the Cape of Good Hope in Africa, returning to England in July 1771. Overall, the expedition was very successful, with little strife among the crew and no deaths from scurvy. Although neither Banks nor Solander published their botanical findings, the two naturalists returned to England with a vast wealth of new something, because I can't see it, Terry.
New
Discoveries.
discoveries.
New discoveries, thank you. I couldn't see it at the bottom. No, that's just the references there. There's no point in going through those, is there? That's all your references. Blah, 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 blah.
I think that's all there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a brief start. It's sort of like your, what do they call it, the thing at the start of a prologue or something to the story. So we'll look into that a bit more next time. Try to find something a bit more of detail, which we were finding, but that other one would have been better, but we can't read that one.
Terry, would you like me to just share to you the one
What's that?
from Britannica that you wanted to read?
Without the ads?
Oh, I've got the banner off the bottom now. So yeah, so it's somewhat stripped of ads.
Okay. But I can't remember what
There we
detail
go.
it had, but I know it had a bit in it.
That's not.
Good evening, Ozzie and Ozzie.
That'll do. There we go. Hopefully you can see that.
Yeah, I can.
Is that good?
Yeah, I might not be able to read it, but I can see it. Yeah, this one gave a bit more information that I couldn't do with it.
Would you like me? Oh, I suppose you can now see my cursor. Can't
Yeah,
you?
we can see your moose.
Well, I'll keep it over there because I can still scroll, so that's okay. So would you like me to read?
Did you see how big it was, the actual article, the whole lot?
Well, I can read for a bit, and you can tell me whether or not.
Well, I don't know how big the article is, and I know it was it was a bit involved in it.
It's quite extensive. It's his life and history and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, down to there.
It goes on to that, past that. Yeah, there's a bit there.
And then that flipping advert's come back.
Is there any way we can copy it without copying the whole lot? I don't know how you could copy what's on it, the page or the article.
Hang on. Pause share. More.
Because if you go out of that and try to get back into it, you're going to lose it like I did.
Stop and hit the share button again and hit advance and portion of screen. And I have absolutely no idea what this is going to do. Why am I seeing that all of a sudden?
You're still sharing there at the moment.
Alright. Does that work for you?
Oh yeah, I can see it better. But I just wondered if we're going to get through all this tonight, because there's a lot there.
Well, it be there for you if you want it.
Well, we might read a bit of it and then we'll see how far. Because if I knew how much of it there was to divide it up into, say, divide it in half, we could read half
Yeah.
tonight and half next time.
Well, I can probably guess where half is because I can see where half is going to be as we scroll down the screen from the
Your slider on the side.
the slider at the side. Yeah, the somebody in the side chat help me. What's the damn thing called that you grab and drag up and down on the side of the screen called? Side of the window called. I've forgotten.
Page slider.
Scroll bar.
Scroll bar.
Scroll bar. That's it.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell from the scroll bar.
Okay then.
Oh, my memory can't be that bad then.
No, you said they were big words. Did you forget?
You wish.
You said
Better
you
than
forget
mine.
big words.
Big word, scroll bar.
Yes, yeah. That's a little word.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it says full article. Okay. So we're back to.
Yeah. So
Start off with James Cook, born October 27, 1728. Martin in Cleveland, Yorkshire, England. So I'm going to screw up these names if they're from over there.
Yeah.
Died February 14, 1779. Now I'm not going to read that. Kealalakua Bay. Something. Hawaii.
I think that was probably not bad actually.
I don't know. Don't ask me to say it again. British naval captain, navigator and explorer who sailed the seaways and coasts of Canada 1759 and 1763 to 1767 and conducted 3 expeditions to the Pacific Ocean 1768
During some years.
during those years. Ranging from the Antarctic ice fields to the Bering Strait and from the coast of North America to Australia and New Zealand. And that's the thumbnail that I
and
used for the.
That's the
thumbnail.
famous map of his thing that the flatties like to show that he sailed round the not flat. Yeah, the Earth is flat because of how far he sailed.
I sailed all those miles. Right? All those miles,
yeah.
but not all of them were around Antarctica.
Yeah. and also they weren't all done on the same
Voyage.
Yeah.
I've got to say that 72 to 75 line, I feel like he got a little lost a few times.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
that's
confused.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of them with them sailing like that is the doldrums they hit, and they have to either when they hit them, they have to wait till the wind picks up, or they have to sail, depending on, because the sails on the ships weren't the best as what they are like today. So they had to the way they had to navigate was with the wind. But at least they had a sextant and knew by the stars and everything how to navigate which way they were going.
Yep, they knew exactly how lost they were.
Yeah.
No, they knew exactly where they were. Planet Earth. That's all they need to know.
Yeah, and they did, and they would of course have known their latitude and longitude.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
At least reasonably well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I always know where I am. I'm right here. I just don't know where here is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But of course, the big problem was that they might not have known where the bits of land they wanted to find were. Anyway, should we scroll up and carry on reading?
Yeah, we can carry on. Reading, that is. Oh, early life. James Cook was the son of a farmhand migrant from Scotland. While Cook was still a child, his father became the foreman on a farm in a neighbouring village. Young James early showed signs of an acquiring an able mind, and his father's employer paid for his schooling in the village until he was 12-year-old. His early teens were spent on the farm where his father worked, but a brief apprenticeship in a general store in a coastal village north of Whitby brought him into contact with ships and the sea. At the age of 18 in 1746, he was apprenticed to a well-known Quaker shipowner, John Walker of Whitby, and at 21 was rated able seaman in the Walker Collier Barks, stout,
Collier Barks,
seaworthy, slow 300 and 400 tonners, mainly in the North Sea trade. When the ships were laid up for refitting, done by the apprentices and crews at Whitby during the worst months of winter, Cook lived ashore and studied mathematics by night. The Whitby barks consistently working North Sea.
North
trade.
Sea. What do you want me to take over, Terry?
I might just make it to the end of here because my eyes are going. When the ships
Yeah.
were laid up for refitting, done by the apprentices and crews. Already read that bit, did I? The Whitby barks consistently working North Sea waters off a dangerous and ill-marked lee shore offered Cook splendid practical training. The young man who learned his seamanship there had little to fear from any other sea.
You want me to carry on reading a bit?
Yes, please.
Promoted to mate in 1752, Cook was offered command of a bark 3 years later, after 8 years at sea. Advancement of this nature opened up a career that should have satisfied most working seamen, but instead Cook volunteered as able seaman in the Royal Navy. The Navy, he was sure, offered a more interesting career for the competent professional seaman, and greater opportunity than in the North Sea barks. Tall of striking appearance, Cook almost immediately caught the attention of his superiors, and with his excellent power of command, he was marked for rapid advancement. Scroll up a bit, Alan.
Yeah.
After advancing to master's mate, then boatswain, boatswain. How do you pronounce that?
Boatswain.
Boatswain.
It's boatswain.
Boatswain. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but yeah,
Boatswain.
thank you. Boatswain. Thank you. Both non-commissioned ranks. He was made master of HMS Pembroke at the age of 29. During the 7 Years' War between Great Britain and France, he saw action in the Bay of Biscay, was given command of a captured ship, and took part in the siege of Louisbourg. Something Royale, Ile Royale,
now in
Yeah.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and in the successful amphibious assault against Quebec. His charting and marking of the more difficult reaches of the St. Lawrence River contributed to the success of Major General James Wolfe's landing there. Based at Halifax during the winters, he mastered surveying with the plane table. Between 1763 and 1768, after the war had ended, he commanded the schooner Grenville, while surveying the coast of Newfoundland, sailing most of the year and working on his charts at his base in England during the winters. Scroll up a bit.
That terminology, plane table, is that
too far.
similar to what the
Yeah.
plane surveyors use when they say plane survey?
I think so, yeah.
Myself.
It was a surveying tool that was in use at that period.
In 1766, he observed an eclipse of the sun and sent back the details to the Royal Society in London, an unusual activity for a non-commissioned officer, for Cook still rated only as a master. Okay, and then we're on to voyages and discoveries.
That's
I'd say that's a replica.
Yeah, I would say
that is a replica of Endeavour.
Yeah, very nice.
Right.
Alba.
In 1768, the Royal Society, in conjunction with the Admiralty, was organising the first scientific expedition to the Pacific, and rather obscure 40-year-old James Cook was appointed commander of the expedition. Hurriedly commissioned as the lieutenant, he was given a homely-looking but extremely sturdy Whitby coal-hauling bark renamed HMS Endeavour. Then 4 years old, of just 368 tons and less than 98 feet long, Cook's orders were to convey gentlemen of the Royal Society and their assistants to Tahiti to observe the transit of the planet Venus across the Sun, as we mentioned earlier. That done, on June the 3rd, 1769, he was to find the southern continent, the so-called Terra Australis, which philosophers argued must exist to balance the land masses of the northern hemisphere. The leader of the scientists was the rich and able Joseph Banks, aged 26, who was assisted by Daniel Solander, a Swedish botanist, as well as astronomers, Cook rating as 1. Can you scroll up? Thank you. And artists. Cook carried an early nautical almanac and brass sextants, but no chronometer on the first voyage.
So on the first voyage, he might not have been quite so sure of his longitudes.
Yeah. Striking south and southwest for Tahiti, where his predecessors had sailed west and west-northwest with the favouring trade winds. Cook found and charted all of New Zealand, a difficult job that took 6 months. After that, instead of turning before the west winds for the homeward run around Cape Horn, he crossed the Tasman Sea westward, and on April 19th, 1770, came upon the southeast coast of Australia. Running north along its 2,000-mile eastern coast, surveying he went, Cook successfully navigated Queensland's Great Barrier Reef, since reckoned as one of the greatest navigational hazards in the world, taking the Coral Sea and the Torres Strait in his stride. Once the bark touched on Coral Spur by night, but it withstood the impact and was refloated. After the Endeavour was grounded on the nearby Queensland coast and repaired, Cook sailed it back to England. He stopped briefly at... Yeah, please, yeah, thank you. Page, yeah, you can read the thing.
It's my contribution to the reading.
Yeah, keep doing that. It's good. He stopped briefly at the... How do you pronounce that name
Batavia.
again? Batavia, that's it, yeah.
Batavia.
Modern Jakarta. I'm just going to say Jakarta from now on. It'll be easier. Supplies and all the crew had been remarkably healthy until then. 30 had died of a fever and dysentery contracted while on land. None of the crew, however, died of scurvy, dietary disease caused by a lack of ascorbic acid that notoriously decimated the crews of the ships of the lengthy voyages in the 18th century. This was because, in addition to ensuring cleanliness and ventilation in the crew's quarters, Cook insisted on an appropriate diet that included cress, sauerkraut, and a kind of orange extract, the health of which maintained his sailors in the consequence made his name a naval byword. Yeah, limeys.
Yep.
Back in England, he was promoted to commander and presented to King George III, and soon he began to organise another and even more ambitious voyage. The success for the expedition of Joseph Banks and his scientists, which established the useful principle of sending scientists on naval voyages, e.g. Charles Darwin in the Beagle, T.H. Huxley in the Rattlesnake, and J.D. Hooker with Sir James Ross to the Ross Sea in the Antarctic, stimulated an interest not only in the discovery of new lands, but in the new knowledge in many other scientific subjects. The wealth of the scientifically collected material from the Endeavour voyage was unique. Cook was now sent out with 2 ships to make the first circumnavigation and penetration into the Antarctic.
Would you like me to read a phrase?
Yeah, go on then, please, yeah. Mouth's getting dry.
Fair enough. Between July 1772 and July 1775, Cook made what ranks as one of the greatest sailing ship voyages, again with a small former Whitby ship, the Resolution, and a consort ship, the Adventure. He found no trace of Terra Australis, though he sailed beyond latitude 70 degrees south in the Antarctic, but he successfully completed the first west-east circumnavigation in high latitudes, charted Tonga and Easter Island during the winters, and discovered New Caledonia in the Pacific and the South Sandwich Islands and South Georgia Island in the Atlantic. He showed that a real Terra Australis existed only in the landmasses of Australia, New Zealand, and whatever land might remain frozen beyond the ice rim of Antarctica. And once again, not one of his crew died from scurvy. Back in England, he was promoted to captain at last, elected a Fellow of the Royal Society, and awarded one of its highest honours, the Gold Copley Medal, for a paper that he prepared on his work against scurvy. Page. Please. That's a lovely picture, isn't it? There was yet one secret of the Pacific to be discovered, whether there existed a northwest passage around Canada and Alaska, or a northeast one around Siberia, between the Atlantic and Pacific. Although the passages had long been sought in vain from Europe, it was thought that the search from the North Pacific might be successful. The man to undertake the search obviously was Cook, and in July 1776 he went off again in the Resolution, with another Whitby ship, the Discovery. This search was unsuccessful, for neither a northwest nor a northeast passage usable by sailing ships existed, and the voyage led to Cook's death. In a brief fracas with Hawaiians over the stealing of a cutter, Cook was slain on the beach at Kealakekua by the Polynesians. It's a tough word, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Next, please.
Unfortunately.
Cook's voyaging left him comparatively little time for family life. Although Cook had married Elizabeth Batts in 1762 when he was 34 years old, he was at sea for more than half of their married life. The couple had 6 children, 3 of whom died in infancy. The 3 surviving sons, 2 of whom entered the Navy, had all died by 1794.
Wow.
Cook had set new standards of thoroughness and discovery. Yeah, it's a pretty harsh one, isn't it?
It is.
Set new standards of thoroughness and discovery in seamanship, in navigation, cartography, and the care of men at sea, in relations with indigenous people, both friendly and hostile, and in the application of science at sea. And he had peacefully changed the map of the world more than any other single man in history.
I think that's probably a good place to stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
The end of the page. Yes.
Yeah, but how are we going to how are we going to copy the rest of it? Because we're not going to be able to go back into this again. Because you know what these things do. Or is that
I imagine
there'll
be quite a few people these days who...
Well, that's basically it anyway.
That is. It's just I see a really long page because they've obviously welded lots
a bunch of extra articles at the bottom.
Yeah.
And adverts.
Oh,
yeah, lots and lots of adverts.
Well, hopefully we can find some more Well, hopefully we can find some other details in amongst what we've read so far and see what else we can come up with next time.
Yeah, I tell you what, Terry, this new share a bit of your screen thing in Zoom is kind of handy because I was able to just clip out the bit of the page with the text that wasn't going to get covered by the pop-up.
Yeah, it worked well. It worked well, yeah. You've done well.
No, now I've got to do is figure out how to stop sharing it.
Oh, while you're doing that, I'll go over...
Because, where's Zoom gone? Meeting controls, there we go. Oh, they're up there. Okay.
Alright. Okay. We'll go... Where are we? I'll go and have a look and see if Lindsay's dropped anything lately.
Nothing of use, Terry.
But then he never does.
Well, I'm sure he's dropped something, but it wouldn't be a video.
No, it wouldn't be. It might be a video. It just wouldn't be of use.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what he's dropped. Yeah,
Dropped his
okay.
brain, I think.
No, sorry guys.
Alleged brain, thank you.
Sorry, yeah, alleged brain. Sorry, I stand corrected.
Yeah, he's into New Zealand native wood pigeons.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I wonder what kind of wrong he's speaking about those.
No, sorry, no Lindsay. Have we got a back? Oh, we got backup, but what did I do with the backup? What did I do with it? Oh shit! Now my memory's failing me. Blue, remember you gave me some backups like the other few weeks back of a certain person, and we used his channel and we just played one of his dirt videos. Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I put it now.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. I don't
What
remember where I
person?
put it. Where'd he go?
I can't remember who you're talking about now.
Certain person's got a little bit of a leak.
Oh, brain leak.
Yeah.
Oh, play anything from Brain Leak. It's
Yeah,
all
that's
stupid.
yeah. I know. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find where I've done with his channel. Unless it's over. Ah, shit. Get rid of Lindsay. Might be quicker to type it in and find it the manual way instead of trying to find it saved. He's got a different name for his channel though, hasn't he? Doesn't call it Brain League.
We should do.
Yeah, he should do. Where would I find it? Definitely not there. Oh, Peanuts, you talk amongst yourselves for a second while we try to figure out where this is.
No.
Blah 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 blah.
Sorry, that was meant to be.
Oh, crickets.
Or just blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah.
And I don't think I would have
Blah blah
been
blah blah blah
shield
is
taking the
Blah
piss.
blah 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 blah.
Might have been
That's the one.
not taking the piss. No. Left dirt. Yep, I found it. I think in Fluff Dirt.
Left up.
Yeah, it's in Fluff Dirt.
Dip 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 dip.
Yeah, Fluff Dirt, I think. Okay. Found it.
It's impossible.
Shut up, Dale.
No.
No. No. Oldest. Is it called Flat Earth Tests? Is that Brain League? Is that the right one?
Yeah, Flat Earth Test is Brain Leak.
That's it. There we go.
We're gonna have a bit of brain leak, are we?
Yeah, well, we're going back. So we won't play his recent. We're going back to his. This one's 2 years ago. This one.
It could be worse. It could be.
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. It's time to do some primary school science.
And can we play him at Lindsay's speed? Would that work? I hope it does.
Oh, is that brain leak himself there? That guy there.
It must be.
Yeah, I suppose it must be.
What? Where?
Over there.
Terry's showing right now. Over here.
I've done something, and suddenly whatever is being shared ends up in a different flipping window to the rest of Zoom.
Are we able to play him
No,
at
it's
Lindsay's
weird.
speed, or we wouldn't be able to understand him if we played him at Lindsay's speed?
Well, see what it's like at normal speed, and then you could always speed it up, see what it's like.
Hey, this is Brian with Flat Earth Test, and
Yeah.
I have a new.
It's a bit quiet, Terry.
And I have a lot of good.
Well, I've
things
got
to
it up
bring.
in maximum.
And my first one being, I'm going to survey the x-axis all the way down the coastline to test if water bends. I am doing this test neutral. I've got my own opinions, but I will say this. Everything, most of what I thought I knew, I did not. And that bothers me. So we need to rewrite the books, and we need to get evidence, solid evidence, one way or another. And I will be accepting comments, and I'll probably give some feedback. Please keep it clean, and whatever the results turn up, do not get upset one way or another. I did not make where we live. I'm just going to give an accurate test. And if it turns out to be, I'm not getting anything for doing this, but I've seen some videos with $10,000 baller challenge. I don't expect, and then like I've seen $100,000, I think I've seen $100,000 thing. I don't expect to be collecting. The way I'm leaning towards, we've went almost a mile, which is totally insignificant. I've got to finish the test, but just from what I've seen and why they've hidden stuff that they have hidden, and why they have disinformed us, like even a mainstream Discovery video or something, I found like giant holes in that. I'm like, why? Anyway, besides my philosophies, my thoughts, my opinions, I'll try to keep them to myself and give you the facts. And I'm going to finish the survey down the coastline of Florida. I'm going to give you a quick explanation of how I'm going to do it. It's pretty solid. I've given it a lot of thought. And, you know, maybe it'll turn out that I will get something for this, but I'm not getting anything for doing this. I'm doing it because I want to know. And I don't want to hear, you know, anybody degrading me, because I was on that side of the fence not long ago, and now I'm on top of the fence, you know, maybe leaning one way, but it's like this. It is what it is, and it's, you know, don't be a bench warmer. That's what I call them, bench warmers, is if you're not going to get out and do experimentation or double check anybody's experiment, because I've seen, I'm not going to say lie, I've seen what I think to be lies on both sides, but, you know, it's maybe disinformation. Yeah, they may be just quoting what they think to be proof positive, but we're going to get it straight. And I have several more good experiments coming up. I'm going to do them one at a time. And a bench warmer is somebody who criticizes, gives their expert evaluation without even getting up out of their seat. So don't be a bench warmer. Anyway, so my experiment is I'm in North Florida. I own a small concrete company, and I've been I live just about 15 minutes from the beach, Atlantic Ocean, and I have been using equipment like this and other lasers, you name it, over 30 years. You know, I've been measuring flat, you know, the flat ground. They survey, you know, different elevations, all that stuff. All I've worked on is flat and level grounds with concrete. I did the majority of the St. Augustine seawall that they constructed not long ago for the St. Augustine School, the Depth Line, under subcontract. But besides that,
what's that, Blue?
I said he's in Florida. Of course he measures flat ground. It's all flat down there. Come on.
Isn't Florida?
He's also not.
Isn't Florida considered the most flattest area or something? Something like that. Some story.
No, the highest point. I think
that's
the highest
Kansas,
point
I thought.
above sea level in Florida is about 400 feet, and that's the top of a landfill.
Oh, okay.
They filled it a bit much.
Yeah, isn't that on the Disney property somewhere?
Yeah, somewhere, I think.
So this is just a Florida man video, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's a Florida man video.
I'm going to give you a brief explanation and put a lot of thought in this. And a couple more things. One is everybody doing their own experiments, be careful, because one little thing can really throw you off and give you false results one way or another. I'll give you an example. Like I tell you what, just be very careful, listen to comments, and whoever's watching this video, I ask, just keep an open mind.
When he says,
because I've already,
when he says false results, he means results that he doesn't want. That's what he means.
Right.
Results that might indicate a curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's the correct way to hear that.
Yeah.
First, I was a little bit upset, been out of shape, and then I started seeing it, and I got past that phase real quick. And now it's like if we cannot find the curve, okay, that's excitement. So everybody who thinks they're going to be out of jobs and all that, we got to rewrite the whole books. So there's going to be job openings everywhere. We got to rewrite a lot of equations. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the technology is not through a telescope. It's through a microscope. You know, we got so much work to do, and
what? Just a microscope? How's that going to determine anything?
I think he's trying to say, don't look at the big stuff, look at the fine details. I'm going to read
Brian,
it that way because I'm being charitable.
Okay.
Brian's going to help rewrite the equations if he ever figures out what an equation is.
Yeah, exactly.
Can
Yeah.
you spell
Let alone
it?
do an equation.
I don't know if you can spell it either.
we need to
Good
do this
luck.
together. So there'll be
No.
plenty of work.
Good luck on trying to improve the Haversine formula.
I think I remember somebody asking him what is E equals MC squared. I think it was that equation. I think, and he just didn't have the first idea, not even the first anything. You know.
Well, E's a
So he's
letter
got
of the
to rewrite the books.
Oh, E's a letter of the alphabet.
He literally
MC's
thinks,
the guy that does all of the talking, right?
huh? Who?
An MC is somebody who does all the
Oh
talking.
yeah, MC. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Exactly.
What, like MC2?
Yeah, that's it.
But what are those two little lines that are flat and level, parallel to each other?
I don't know, man. It's all Greek to me.
Okay.
For everybody to rewrite everything. It doesn't have to be revolution or peace and love and all that. Just keep society, carry on. I'm philosophizing again. Back to the point. Okay, so
Do what?
Is that what you call
philosophizing?
Philosopher. Oh shit.
I can't even say that.
Philosophize. That's what he said. Philosophizing. I'm philosophizing again.
Philosophers for yeah, okay.
But he couldn't pronounce it properly, could he?
No.
He's philosophizing again, but he can't say the word philosophizing.
Yeah, Terry can't actually pronounce his mispronunciation.
Yeah.
That's how
I
badly
don't
he
think
screwed
any
up
of us
that word.
can.
It's very simple. Philosophizing.
Yeah, that's what
There
he
you
said.
go.
That's what he said.
Blue, you got it, mate.
Yeah. What he said.
I speak
mean,
redneck. Come on.
It sounds like you're about 3/4 of the way through a liter of bourbon, but let's.
Or is he flirtacizing?
Yeah, philosophy
We
size.
gotta hear that one more. I want to hear it one more time.
Yeah, philosophy size. That's what the
Philosophizing. That's what he said. Philosophizing.
Yeah, that's it.
Might be a redneck.
I'm philosophizing again. Back to the point.
Yeah, philosophy
Okay,
size.
so and here it is. So I've studied into it, but I haven't done much of the geodetic surveying. I've focused on the ground, basically ground level, and they go long distance. But I've already studied into this, and I see where they are easily fooled. You wonder if people can't be fooled. You know, I mean, even on the space station, they're 250 miles up, but if you do the math, they're barely above the Earth, barely above the Earth. So yeah, nobody's got to be lying or fooled. They just call it how they see it. Because 3 months ago,
No, he's right.
I wouldn't have had a clue to even look for this, and I'm kind of upset at myself for not noticing some of the things I noticed now.
Hold on.
But so
Don't make me defend him twice. He's right. They're barely above the ground when you scale it to the size of the Earth.
But when you map it out, he said, when you map it out, it's hardly above the Earth. Like what? What 250 miles in I suppose in terms
When
of
you scale the whole
cosmic.
thing down to something you can put on a screen, you can't really tell
Yeah.
the difference between where they are and where the ground is. So.
Oh, I suppose, yeah. Okay, all right. I'll let him off.
Yeah,
that
I
one.
mean, adding.
I never want to defend this clown again. All right, so stop making me do it.
I mean, when you compare 6,371 kilometres with 400 kilometres,
Yeah, it's not a lot, I guess.
It's not a huge difference in the radius, is it?
No, I guess not.
No.
Okay, I'm very sorry, Brian.
So here I am, looking through this instrument, and I got it set up about 200 foot from the beach, up the beach, okay? And I got a story pole, and then 200 feet away north, I got another story pole, and 200 feet away south, I got a story pole, okay? So they're staked into the ground, and
focus, Brian,
let's just
focus.
say I shoot. I'm gonna give you a brief description of how this
Can't
instrument
see it.
works if you don't know, and a lot of people don't. But it's pretty simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. You basically.
Don't forget this was done a couple of years ago, Matt. So he may have improved his video skills since then.
Probably not.
Is a telescope.
Well, I mean, it's that's not Brian. Obviously, that's his mate, whoever it is, but he can't focus the camera, obviously, on the page. It's all out of focus. That's what I'm saying.
So what if I've been drinking? You're the one that's blurry.
Crosshairs. But what makes it different from a telescope is that it holds level 360 degrees, and it is very. I mean, you can feel how level it is. There's a circular bubble, and it's accurate. You know, they claim like an eighth of an inch in a quarter mile.
But can't we at least give him some credit? It's done in landscape and not portrait.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
True.
And he's not doing it in his car, which is a little
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be biased one way or another.
He's not.
What he said?
Or his seller.
Okay.
Like I said,
Or
I'm
his
not
seller.
getting paid one way or another, and I could care less which way it is. I mean, it's kind of exciting if it is. If the Earth is flat or geocentric, it's kind of exciting. But you know, but then again, the comfort lies with the way I was raised. So there's a part of me. So it's a telescope. You're set up on a tripod. I'm sure you've seen them on the side of the road. And you've got the guys holding the sticks, and even with the lasers, they hold the story poles with the guides that we run up and down the pole until they beat. But how this thing works is that it's a telescope. So let's say I set up a tripod and I mount this thing and level it out, and I look through this scope, and the story pole reads 4 foot. Okay, right in the crosshairs is 4 foot on the dot marker. That doesn't mean nothing at all. But what does, I move anywhere within sight, you zoom in, but say I like to keep it consistent, so I move 200 foot that way and I shoot to the ground, the story pole's on the ground, and I see 4 foot in the crosshairs of that direction. All that means is that the bottom of that story pole and the bottom of that story pole are exactly level. That's what in relativity of each other, that's exactly what it means. And then everything else you shoot that shows up 4 foot is exactly level with the bottom of the story pole you're shooting is level with the bottom of the other ones. And if you, let's say for example, you shoot a story pole and you get a 3 foot reading, then you know it's a foot higher. Okay? Do you understand?
That's brilliant. He done math in his head on the fly.
I know, right? Being able to subtract, 3 from 4 without having to refer to a calculator, I'm stunned.
And he didn't get his fingers out either.
I hope so. But if you read, let's say, anyway, I hope you get the picture. If not, it shoots elevations relative of each other. So the concept I come up with is that I'm going to take and go up the beach about 200 foot, and I'm going to stake a story pole in the ground. And let's say I'm going to start off, let's say, 3 foot. I mean, let's say I got my instrument set. I can't really dictate it.
I wish you'd stay still.
So I'll start. Hold on. So I set the
hold on.
I shoot the story pole straight.
Oh,
Somebody knocking at the door.
This is like that reminds you of CC's one where his guy comes into the kitchen. His missus. He's left his missus outside and locked her out. You can't come back in until I'm finished.
You stop this shit, you fucking idiot.
I've just had a realization. Has anybody seen The Good Place TV show?
Yes.
Yeah, this guy isn't just from Florida, he's from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Okay.
Like I said, a tape measure, a stiff tape measure that stands up, and I get 3 foot. And then I shoot. I'm going to be doing it real close to the water because the ground doesn't mean anything. Because if you were shooting on a downhill slope, you'd basically come up with the conclusion Earth is curved. If you're shooting on flat ground, you'd come up with the conclusion Earth is flat. The ground doesn't mean nothing. We're testing the water. So when I'm done,
I think that's wrong, isn't it? Because he said you're shooting down. You're not shooting down when you shoot. You're just shooting at a. Whatever.
With my benchmark, I'm going to come back to the beginning and check my benchmark in relative to the water, and my ending benchmark relative to the water, maybe 10 miles down, maybe 4. And I'm going to test them at the same time, so the tide is not a factor, because the tide rises up some, in and out, and so I've put a lot of thought into this, and I'm going to try and settle the argument, but I do have other experiments, good ones, arguably better than this, but so if you probably start to see the picture, especially if you're a surveyor, you're waiting on me, so here we go.
Are you talking to
surveyors, one final thing. Y'all were taught to, with the geodetic long range survey, and it would be, and going 200 foot at a time with this survey, setting up my tripod as I go down. So basically I'm going to say I get 3 foot.
He doesn't even know why this won't work,
all I know
does he?
is that I got marks on the ground, marked with a marker right at ground level, that are showing up at 3 foot through my sights. So I know that they are exactly level with each other. So then I'm sitting there with these poles right by the water line. After that, I'm going to pull the north stake, move my whole operation down one stake. I'm going to go one stake at a time, which means I'm going to have to set up about, a little over 31, setups per mile. So it's painfully tedious. So, and then I'm going to set up in front of this one. And so once I pull this out the ground and I've pulled my tripod up, all I know is that these 2 marks by the ground are level with each other. That's all I know. So I'm going to shoot it at my new elevation, however high the tripod sets up. It could be 2.5 foot this time. They ain't told us nothing yet. The story is back there in the water. Okay, so now I shoot 2.5 foot, and then that's obviously going to be 2.5 foot again. And my new stake, I'm going to be set up right here, shooting. I shoot straight ahead. It's 2.5 foot because my thing went down, but that one will also say 2.5 foot. And then I shoot at 2.5 foot.
Is anyone following this yet?
No.
It sounds like he's lining them up.
He's very
across his
awkwardly.
field of view.
He's very awkwardly trying to describe differential leveling.
Oh, where he sets it up at level between the 2 of them, but then if he moves it down range and keeps moving the stick, that's not.
Yeah, you just follow the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, you're not going to show anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't understand why he's explaining it. I don't think. But
exactly.
This is differential leveling.
I think
it counts on the fact that the drop behind you is exactly the same as the drop in front of you, as long as you keep those distances equal.
And also, what's his range? 200 feet.
Something like that.
Yeah.
200 feet. So the drop over 200 feet is imperceptible.
Yeah, it's small, but it would
so.
eventually add up if you just keep setting up and shooting and setting up and shooting. But when you shoot a front sight and a back sight like this, you wipe out the curvature.
Yeah.
Because the drop on the front sight is exactly the same as the drop on the back sight if you're shooting from the center.
And put a mark.
What do I know? Jesus.
Yeah, what do we know, Blue?
Yeah.
At 2.5 foot. So now once again I have 3 level marks. Okay? And then I take this stake and move it down and move over 1. You get the picture. So if we are going either downhill.
So he's basically doing segments that are going to be level each time he moves a stake.
Yeah, every time he sets up, he's re-leveling.
Yeah.
Right, the way you guys have explained it sounds simple, but I think what Brian's trying to do, he's trying to explain it simply, but he's actually he's ended up doing the opposite. He's actually making it sound more complicated than it actually is. Because I've just understood everything you just said, but I haven't understood a word he's just said. It's like, what?
Keep in mind that chewing bubble gum, Brian can make chewing bubble gum sound like nuclear physics.
Nuclear physics for flatties, yeah.
Or B, hold on. Over.
Hold on again.
Hold on.
Let me in.
Will you stop doing this shit, Brian? Get out.
Yeah. Let me in. I'm your wife. Don't lock me out.
For a curve, he knows I'm doing this.
This is a welfare check.
Anyway, A downhill or B
Well, the
over
dog's
curve,
growling now.
marks should start progressively coming up. You know, mathematically, 8 inches, everybody knows the equation. If you don't, 8 inches per mile squared. So, you know, 8 inches the first mile, you can't really tell that the first mile. Because there is, you know, I'm not going to be given bias either way on the measurements. And technically, we're going to be using stakes with tape measures because they will shoot, you know, accurate at 1/32 of an inch. And the story poles are, they're a little more lenient because they're over longer distances. But I'm going to do this tediously, and I'm going to double and triple check, and I will film, you know, the experiment. I'll film different stages, and when I post the video.
He said he does concreting small job stuff. Imagine being the customer
where
coming
he never
up.
needs to.
Imagine being the customer coming up to him and getting a quote off him.
Oh,
The
God.
customer will have no idea what they're getting. The customer will end up knowing.
Bear
more
in
than
mind that he does small concreting jobs. He doesn't do like anything over a few hundred square yards max. So
He
there's
said
no
he'd
way
done a
he's ever
break.
going
He
to
said he'd
need.
done a break wall or something. I don't know how big that was. That's what he said earlier on. Something about a breakwater or something.
Yeah. That's apparently, yes, he did this breakwater or something, breakwater wall, I think he said. But what he did, who knows?
Yeah.
But again, if he's doing differential leveling, then no problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you need if you're going to build a breakwater, isn't it? Differential
Exactly.
leveling.
Yeah.
Just so that the top of the breakwater stays the same height above the sea.
Yep.
Video, whatever
Now,
the results are.
if he'd used more than 3 stakes or sticks, whatever the hell they're called, and just kept putting more and more and more, then he could sight down them, and he might have a chance of actually seeing a curve.
But that sounds like it might prove something.
Might work. I know, right?
Yeah.
Be ready to accept them because this is the truth, and I have others, but I'll go as far as I need to. But I think by the time I get delivered 2 miles, it should be 32 inches of curve. You know, 3 miles, 6 foot. You know, and if it starts coming up, and let's just say I started on the ground by the water, and let's just say this word doesn't change, you know, but then I start getting a few miles down, then and it start to come up, and it's done went up about 3 or 4 foot, even with the margin of error. I mean, it's going to be pretty apparent. And I'll keep going though. That the Earth is curved, like they say, like we were taught. And if it's staying on the ground when I'm right by the water, then it's going to start. You know, it's going to give me a chill. But like I said, there's advantages both ways. But so one more time, I'm going to shoot. But one more thing, if y'all surveyors, you may think I'm a fool, whatever. But I'm going to test this too. Perspective. When I'm at the beach and I'm standing right there on the shoreline and I'm looking out at the water, you know, you heard the horizon comes eye level. It does. That's one thing. You know, most things we were taught are true. And the water looks higher. You're looking up at the water, and then the boat's even higher than that on top of the water. And me and my son are there, and we know the boats are under our feet. The water, I want to say, is under our feet. But you'd never think that by looking at it, but we know that it is. You know, especially with curve. It's even lower than our feet, but it doesn't look that way, which is fishy. And I can see where y'all would get thrown off, you know, doing long distance surveys your whole life. I've always done it little spots at a time. And I didn't.
Long distance surveys? Yeah,
so
right.
This ain't, nobody's wrong. I don't care if you've been, whatever we've been doing our whole life wrong, you know, who cares? Scratch it off. Nobody knew. Let's get it right. It's exciting times. Our generation can get it right. And just to give you an idea of how kids, my son is in my first video, which I got a lot more coming, good ones, but he held the story pole, you know, helped hold it. We checked behind him and all that in the first almost mile, not quite a mile. And I will be going back to finish. And I got 2 more things. So he held the string line. And when you're down on the beach and you're going 200 foot that way and 200 foot that way and holding poles and all that, and to a kid it seems like a long way. And he's like, you know, he sees things that don't make sense. But, you know, I don't put him in the midst of it. I just tell him, you know, I'm trying to figure it out to shut one side up or the other. And he thinks it's curved, and then he thinks it's flat. But anyway, so I got them all level right off the bat, and then I called out the measurements to my guy, and he's like, he heard 4 foot. It was like 3, 6 and a half. He heard 3, 6 and a half, 3, 6 and a half, 3, 6 and a half. He's like, oh my God, it is flat. And he's 14, so, and that's over 400 feet. He was convinced, and it was funny. And I told him, slow down, buddy. We don't know that it's flat, and I kind of explained to him, but it's we got to change our whole frames of thought basically, and it's almost I don't know. There's advantages both ways, but I hopefully explained it very well, and I'm gonna try and go far enough. On hopefully Monday night I will post the results, and but take it easy on me on the feedback because it's pretty solid. I'm gonna say one more thing and I'm gonna hang it up. Is that I was gonna do a string line test, short distances as to eliminate the sag. I was gonna do 150 foot and just tediously, maybe even 100 foot apart, and do string lines. And it's the same concept. All I'd have to do is get everything level, double, triple check it. In this case, I would bring out my laser, and I would shoot, let's say, a foot off the ground, laser, and just make sure these three are exactly level, and put a mark, and a mark, and a mark, and then tie string lines from there to there, and from there to there, separate string lines. And then pull the north string line and convert it, and then untie this string line and go up and down until it's right on the mark, pulling it tight. And then right when I get the string line, say I start down and I start coming up, and right when I get to the mark, they check, and they're marked, and then I mark it right there and I tie it off, and then pull this one. But here, the problem with that is that
the problem, that is one problem.
A 16th inch of sag, 1/32 of an inch of sag would be progressive and accumulative. And so over the course of a couple miles, it would show false curves. So like I said, be careful with the experiments you do, double, triple check. Everybody, try and keep an open mind. There's no point in getting mad at each other. We didn't make it. We just ended up finding it. And it's going to be exciting either way. And somebody's going to be eating doo-doo. But either way, humble yourself and peace out.
Humble yourself, my butt.
So,
humble yourself. I hate that phrase. I freaking hate that phrase.
So he basically what he's saying is that if he's proved wrong, he's willing to admit that he's wrong. I've never heard him actually admit that he's wrong ever yet.
I've never heard a person never finish a thought or a sentence so incoherently than Brian Lee. He's a master at it.
Yep. Well, Brian, I believe if you're going to humble yourself and admit you're wrong.
Well, that was 2 years ago, don't forget, so...
Yeah.
We'll just have to keep... I don't know how many videos he's got all up.
Too many, I believe is the answer.
Too many, yeah.
Way too many.
Oh, well, that'll keep us entertained for in between Lindsay.
I know I shouldn't get angry, but it makes me angry.
Hey.
Well, that's not what I want. I've got to fix the sound back up again. Put that back to normal. Otherwise we'll be blasting everybody out there. Oh yeah, he does have a fair few. Oh well, that'll keep us going for a long time. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Oh, I did want to mention to the peanuts, I don't like e-begging, but my Zoom Zoom thing runs out in the 25th of this month, and I'm a couple of dollars short. It's not as if I'm a lot short, it's just a few dollars short.
Have you fixed your PayPal?
It's in the, yeah, I have fixed the PayPal underneath this one, tonight's stream. I think I'm about 10, I think I worked it out about $10, $15. I was a bit short to get the Zoom link thing again for the next 12 months. Otherwise, I was going to try to do with the Google Meets thing, but I haven't had a go at that yet to see what that's like. I'd have to play around with that one to see what it's like. I'd have to get me tech support to help me out with that. His name's Alan.
I think your tech support's a little bit broken at the moment, Terry.
Okay. When I use a screwdriver or a band-aid to fix it?
As I posted to somebody else, something relatively large and, but with a slight squidginess, so that when you hit me over the head with it repeatedly, it doesn't do too much physical damage.
Oh, okay, so
a
wooden baseball bat would be better than an aluminium one?
I was more thinking that, sort of maybe Brian, maybe some Flurf's severed arm. That would probably have the right mixture of stiffness and squidgy.
Alright.
No, Clive, not a damn hammer. Steve.
Everyone's brains warmed up. Yep.
Yes, yes, Steve.
Yes.
Oh God, no.
Yes, Stevie.
I mean, yes.
Stevie B, who's been reminding you of that?
We might do a 500 sub special Saturday and Alan's birthday. All in one day.
Assuming I don't get taken out by Rosie and Nathan.
Oh, thanks, Carl. I do appreciate it.
Take it out. That sounds like they're going to shoot you or something. Oh, Alan's been taken out.
Oh God.
Yeah, come for a walk out the back, Alan. I want to show you the garden.
It's almost like I'm already living in the old person's home. Oh, I am. I'm just the only one here.
Have you ever, Alan? Have you ever watched the series Waiting for God?
Yes. I remember. I can't remember the details, but yeah, I remember.
You relate to that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a quiz to do then.
Yeah, right.
Number 48. Would you believe it or not?
Make sure I type it in the right place and send the answer to Hans Bethe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beta.
Quiz time. Oh,
Beta.
oh God. I mean, oh, great. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
had to thank the Peanuts, Paul, and whoever else donated, because
the reason
I've gone over my limit of what I needed. So thank you, guys.
Now, no using any of that money, Terry, to bribe people to give you quiz answers, right?
Oh shit!
That's in truth that's why Terry's short.
Yeah. Geez, you let the cat out of the bag every time.
Terry, $5 an answer, all right?
Okay. Just don't tell Paul.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you know the rules. You DM me the answers if you're an internal person, and if you're a part of the panel. You don't say it out loud. Any answers that are correct out in the Peanuts, if the first person with the correct answer and none of the internal panel have got it yet, I won't acknowledge that you've got the correct answer. So don't feel left out if you put a correct answer and I don't say it's correct just yet. I will eventually acknowledge it. Okay. And here we go. Question number 1. A member of this movement threw a menstrual cup filled with actual menstrual blood from the balcony of the California Senate in a bizarre protest.
Oh, really?
What? Yeah. What movement was she from? What kind of a person was she?
Would it be this one? Something to do with that?
No, that is not correct, Terry.
Ah. Okay, I'll get another guess. I'll wait for another clue.
Not feminists, Carl Edwards. No, not feminism. Not vegans, not flirts.
How do you get flirts from that, Clive?
No, Alan Evans, you are not correct either. A handbook for this movement is published by the group Peach. Not women's suffrage. That was what Alan guessed, Dora, but that's not correct. Not an anti-abortion movement, Matt. But Monk is correct. E-Monk is correct.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Sorry, Terry. I had
Monk.
Paul selected.
$10 to give me the answer, please. Sorry, was I thinking
a representative
out loud
from the Church of Scientology? Yeah, a representative from the Church of Scientology headlined a symposium for this movement in Rockland County, New York, attended by hundreds of ultra-Orthodox Jews. Not SJWs, not anti-abortion, not FLIRFs, not pro-life, not PETA. No.
What? People for
an
eating
organisation
tasty
in
animals.
Yeah, not eating tasty animals, no. An organisation in support of this movement led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ran many Facebook ads opposing the use of thimerosal. Now you know what it is, don't you?
No, I don't know what thimerosal is. Yeah, I knew what that was.
Yeah. That is correct, Keanu. You are correct. You have the first correct answer out in the peanuts. Along with E-Monk, who said that it was the anti-vaxxer movement. Yes.
Yeah.
I want my money back, Monk.
Yeah. A now retracted paper in the Lancet published by Andrew Wakefield. Now that would have given it away, right? Claiming to link autism was one source of what a crackpot anti-science movement, which has led to the resurgence of measles. It is, of course, the anti-vax movement. I like this, Jeff.
Yeah.
Damn it! If I'd actually read the article that I found a little bit more, I would have actually found the right answer. It's just like I read the first bit and got it wrong.
Okay. Yeah, the anti-vax movement.
Yeah, the thimerosal. That's the aluminium compound, isn't it?
The adjutant.
That used to be in there just to make it get activated.
More effective, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. I think it was a preservative, actually. Anyway, question 2. An attempt to carry out 2 simultaneous mid-air bombings was foiled by the fact that, unlike Japan, this country observes daylight savings time. Fancy not taking into account daylight savings time when you're trying to bomb someone, hey?
Always plan your bombs on UTC.
Yeah.
Zulu time. It is the same, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the USA. No. The first airplane in Lufthansa's fleet, not to be named after a location in Germany, is named after a pair of cities in this country.
Well, we know it's not Luxembourg because they only have one city.
Not Pakistan.
Type it in the right box.
It's not the USA. No. Not Austria, Alan. No. Okay. Fan T. Kim Phuc, the so-called Napalm Girl, defected to this country during a layover on a flight from Cuba to Moscow. Not India, not China. No. Not the Netherlands blue. No. Not Taiwan, not South Korea, not Vietnam. The Sikh terrorist group Baba Kaiser bombed Air India Flight 182, which departed from this country. Not Narnia. Not Spain. Alan, no. No. Looks like we're going to get to the visual clue, which you'll like. Many flights were diverted to airports in this country on September the 11th, 2001, during Operation Yellow Ribbon. That would be the right one, E-Monk. Yes. Well done. Not Ceylon, not Korea, not Sri Lanka. No, not the Netherlands, Alan. No. Someone already guessed that, but no, that's not correct.
Okay, I missed that.
Identify this country home to airports named for former Prime Ministers Lester Pearson and Pierre Trudeau.
I've got it.
Now,
Come on,
that's got to give it away, doesn't it?
I've already got it before that clue came up.
Yeah. You are right, M to M, yes. And you're right now, Alan, yes.
Yeah.
And finally, we have Vremfondle with the correct answer too. And Carl. And Clive Wells with Canada. Yep. Canada. Canada is the correct answer, yes.
What the hell is that picture got to do with it?
Well, it's got a flag of Canada there.
Oh, so it has, yeah, I didn't...
Yeah.
It didn't scroll. When it was scrolling it, I didn't see that bit. All I saw was a stomach.
Canadian flag there. Well, all you saw was what you wanted to see, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Canada. Yeah. Canada was the correct answer. Question 3. Natural features named for Beardmore and Axel Heiberg were instrumental to 2 early attempts to perform this feat. What feat was performed eventually?
Oh, that's sorry for my absolute awful typing there, Paul.
No, that's not correct, Alan.
Okay.
Though originally built for a different feat, the ship Fram's flag crowned a tent erected by the first group to perform this action. What did they do? It's not the first powered flight, Carl Edwards, no. Not the climbing of Everest, no. It's not tightrope walking over Niagara Falls, no. While returning from having performed this action, one man declared that, "I am just going outside and will be some time," before walking out to his death.
Oh.
That would be correct, E-Monk, but you were just beaten at my end by Alan.
For once, I type slow, type slower than Alan.
Yeah. And finally, yes, Carl Edwards has come up with it too. It was the first attempt, first time to travel to the South Pole. Yeah.
Oh, damn, I'll put North Pole. Shit, the fuck.
Language.
Damn it.
The Terra Nova expedition. Yeah. Upon complete, they had been beaten to it by a group led by Roald Amundsen. That should have given it away.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it says my internet connection's unstable.
Just like me.
Robert Falcon Scott died while returning from what action involving a journey to certain Antarctic location? A trip to the South Pole.
Yeah.
All right,
Schoolboy error.
move on.
North Pole.
His
still
final words
connected.
were very stiff upper lip, though. Maybe some time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Philip Sands's account of this practice, titled for a team that practiced it, predicted the later unsuccessful criminal charges against men like J. Bybee and Alberto Gonzalez. What did they practice? Okay. Lindy England and Charles Grainer were convicted during a scandal over this practice, which revealed a series of memos on it written by now Berkeley professor John Yoo. No one knows yet? No?
Not a clue.
Okay, well, you've got 2 clues.
Well,
You do have a clue. You have 2 clues, but
There you go.
yeah. Videotapes pertaining to this practice were controversially destroyed in 2005, allegedly on the orders of Gina Haspel, who faced criticism for her condoning of this practice in Thailand.
Ignore my answer, Paul. Ignore that.
Yeah, because it's wrong.
Yeah, I know. No, I realise that now.
That would be correct, Big Blue. Yes.
Ooh.
There's another one-word phrase that's commonly used for that as well, Blue. Yeah. Everything's gone quiet. Is he still there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. US soldiers infamously engaged in this practice at Abu Ghraib prison. That would be correct, Blue. You've got it. And I saw it appear by Blue out in the Peanuts and he deleted it straight away. Abu
Yeah, I
Ghraib's.
pushed the wrong button.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. That would be correct, Carl Edwards. Well done for seeing it. But you might have known from the Abu Ghraib one anyway. That was a pretty good clue. So,
Yeah.
And this practice known by the euphemism enhanced interrogation by George W. Bush's administration. It was, of course, torture.
Yeah, that last clue would have got it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Torture, or as Blue put it, enhanced interrogation. Yeah.
That's what Bush called it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least my
White
guess was a form of torture.
Yeah.
Waterboard.
Okay. A deity named for this animal was originally a man beaten to death for peeking at an imperial official's buttocks in the bathroom. That deity is the Chinese god of homosexuality. What animal are they talking about? Alan's coming up with an answer. I can hear it.
No, he's not. I don't know whose keyboard that is.
No, Big Blue. No, it's not the lemon bird. Great answer, but it's not lemon bird. No, it's not the cat. It's not the elephant. In the Jataka tales, a bodhisattva reincarnated as one of these animals sacrifices himself in a fire, only for Sakra to reveal that it was a test.
Sakura Blue.
Yes. So M2M has the correct answer, and so does Keanu out in the Peanuts. It was a rabbit. 80 gods trick one of these animals into jumping into the sea after it loses its skin before it was helped by Okunimushi. A jade one of these animals makes either mochi or an elixir of life in a mortar and pestle on the moon. Gee, some of those ancients had great imaginations, didn't they?
Love to know what they were smoking.
Yeah. During the Great Race, this animal became fourth in the Chinese zodiac, coming in between the tiger and the dragon. What animal loses a race to a slow and steady tortoise? It is, of course, a rabbit. A rabbit.
Wascally Webbit.
Yeah.
That's not a wascally rabbit.
That's a bunny. I know that's similar,
Yeah.
but not quite.
Paul,
The
Paul, I could see where your mind is when you were creating.
Yeah.
Two now. Not that I'm complaining. I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. No, the only reason why I knew it was a rabbit because actually a couple of weeks ago I was watching a live stream and they were talking about gay people and all the rest of it, and somebody just happened to mention it, and it was like,
Okay.
ding! Yeah, that's the only reason why I knew.
There you go. Yeah. Question 6. A ceremony preceding this activity requires two attendants called dew sweepers and sword bearers and involves one participant in it performing a ritual dance to stamp out demons. What activity is it? This will be a quick one, I think. Okay. Participants in this activity traditionally throw salt to purify the space used for it before they enter. I knew it would be a quick one. Correct answer, E. Monk and Alan Evans. And correct answer out in there from Clive Wells. It is sumo wrestling.
Yeah,
Yes.
as well, yeah.
Yeah. Controversy in the latter part of the 20th century concerned whether foreigners possessed the necessary dignity and grace for promotion to the highest rank within this sport. The two currently highest ranked competitors in this sport were both born in Mongolia, including its most successful competitor, Hakuo. A ceremony at the Meiji Shrine is performed by Yokozuna, the highest ranked participants in what Japanese form of wrestling? It is, of course, sumo wrestling.
Wasn't there a big stink when one of the Hawaiian sumo took out the big championship?
Yeah, he did, yeah. There was.
Yeah.
He was not a small lad.
Sumo wrestling. Yeah. No. Zoltan Balog argued that this entity does not exist for O-type stars because of their high UV radiation. What entity?
Redheads.
I'm after correct terminology here. No. Dora, no, there's no female sumo wrestling. I looked hard, but I couldn't find any. Okay. Citing examples like Titan, some astronomers claim that the conventional view of this entity as an example of carbon chauvinism and advocate that it be greatly expanded. What about the planets? Blue? It's not the planets. Life doesn't really explain what this entity is. No. I want a bit more detail than that. Ramirez and Colt and Nega claimed that red giant stars would not have one of these regions because intense solar winds would blow away planetary atmospheres. Not hydrocarbons, not X-rays. That is correct, E-Monk. You are on fire tonight. That is another way to say it, Alan. That is the way, but astronomers refer it to as something else, Alan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Which E-Monk typed. In the solar system, this region is typically held to have an inner diameter of around 0.7 to 0.9 astronomical units and an outer diameter of between 1.2 and 2 AU.
And Carl Edwards has it.
Carl Edwards has the correct answer too. Well done, E-Monk and Carl Edwards, for the Goldilocks zone. Yes.
Goldilocks zone. I call it the green zone, but close enough.
Yeah. This region of a star system is often named Yeah, often named for a character in a story because it is where conditions for a certain phenomena are just right. Identify this region of a star where conditions are optimal for life to arise. It's the Goldilocks zone.
And
yes, she does have,
I knew it.
and she has Goldilocks. Goldilocks. Come on.
Look at those melons.
Definitely know where your mind was today, for sure.
Isn't that what Goldilocks looks like?
Absolutely.
I always thought she was a little younger in the story, but hey, who am I to judge?
Yeah. Question 8. In a story by this author, which takes its title from Psalm 137, Marvin's father takes him to see the radioactive aftermath of Armageddon in the form of a faintly glowing earth. Which author?
Like I can remember what Psalm 137 says.
Wrong one, Alan. Correct era, but wrong one. No, Roomfondle. You picked the wrong one too. And that would be right, Alan. This one I knew would go off fairly quickly. Well done to Alan Evans and to Carl Edwards, who got Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he described a man looking at the sky with a parenthetical phrase, noting that there is always a last time for everything. If I Forget Thee, O Earth, is by this author, who also wrote a story in which two men were hired to provide a computer to a Tibetan lamasery to enumerate the names of God.
That would have been my clue.
David Bowman is transformed into a star child in a novel written by this author while working with Stanley Kubrick, who also directed a film based on it. That would have given it away for sure.
I would have got that, yeah.
Named this author of The 9 Billion Names of God and 2001 A Space Odyssey. It was, of course, Arthur C. Clarke. Yeah.
First man to imagine communication satellites.
Yeah. Former Royal Air Force radar technician as well.
Oh, was he?
Oh. Well,
he's one of your lot.
There you go.
Yeah, he's one of my lot. Well, actually, he was an engineering officer rather than an actual tech as far as I know, but close enough.
Okay, question 9. They're not protons, but these particles are emitted as a result of silicon in a star's core, photodisintegrating as a star completes the oxygen burning process. What particles are emitted? Who knows their star chemistry? Not neutrons. Not positrons, no.
Maybe they're positrons then.
No. In another process, these particles are most commonly produced as the small charged fragments due to their high stability. If produced by that process, these particles are called long range. Not gamma rays, not neutrinos, not antiprotons, no. George Gamow modelled the emission of these particles as tunnelling. Not neutrinos, Carl, no. Not cosmic rays, no.
Damn it.
Not X-rays. These particles are produced as a result of the proton-proton chain reaction. Not electrons. That would be
There's only
correct,
16
Alan
particles
Evans.
in the standard model.
Oh, no. Remember, a particle doesn't refer necessarily to a single thing. But you are correct, Alan Evans. And we also have a correct answer from John Rapp out in the Peanuts. They are alpha particles.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
The formation of thorium-234 from uranium-238 involves the release of one of these particles from the nucleus. Name these particles which consist of 2 protons and 2 neutrons and identical to a helium-4 nucleus. It is the alpha particle. Yeah.
I just found the answer and I was just typing it then, but way too late. Way too late.
Yep. There you go. And the last question. Bizarrely, this man performed Happy Birthday for the 90th birthday of Strom Thurmond. Who was it?
I don't know. Who's Strom Thurmond?
Yeah. Okay. Before joining Parliament, Funkadelic, Bootsy Collins and Maceo Parker gained fame as musicians under this man. Not Weird Al, not Ozzy Osbourne, no. Clyde Stubblefield performed a widely sampled drum break on this man's jam session. Funky drummer. That would be correct, M2M. Well done. Not Bowie, Alan Evans, no. This man started his career alongside Bobby Bird as part of the famous Flames.
Are you going to get it now, surely? Somebody will.
Yeah, someone knows. Come on, not Bob Dylan. No.
Definitely not Bob Dylan.
Not George Clinton.
What?
Who's George Clinton? That would be correct, E-Monk. Yeah. Come on. This man's first Grammy was for Papa's Got a Brand New Bag.
Oh, come on, guys. You've got to get it from that now. Please.
Yeah, come on.
I just don't do music.
Bill's brother. That'd be Ted, wouldn't it?
Bill and Ted. Mm.
Not Miles Davis. I'll Go Crazy and Please, Please, Please were included in this man's 1963 album Live at the Apollo. Come on, Peanuts. 2 people in the internal chat have already got it. This man yells, "Whoa," before I feel nice, like Sugar and Spice, on the song I Got You. Feel good. Come on. Yes, finally. K&O, followed closely by Room Fondle with James Brown. Godfather of Soul that recorded Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine. It was James Brown.
I feel nice.
Yeah.
I got the right person.
There you
with the
go.
wrong name.
Chuck Berry? How's that the right person?
I had James Brown in my mind. Oh yeah, that bloke. What's his name?
Yeah.
Well, you got the right era at least.
Yeah.
Style of music, kind of.
I'm
There you
guessing
go.
Terry had the image in his mind, just the wrong name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
There you go. That's your quiz for today.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Nicely done, Paul.
Yeah, that was a good one, huh?
I knew the songs, like in the clues, and I'm going, yep, that's the bloke. What's his name?
Oh dear.
I suppose I better take my medication that I should have taken during the middle of the quiz.
I already beat you to it, Alan. Sorry, I should have reminded you.
Well, we were just starting the quiz when the alarm went off.
Yeah,
So-
I know. I heard it. I thought, yeah, I better go and
Terry,
do mine.
you shouldn't be taking Alan's meds.
No,
Alan wouldn't want to.
Terry,
Alan wouldn't want to be taking mine, but I wouldn't mind taking Alan's because they're probably stronger.
They're not really. Terry uses my alarm to take my meds as an alarm to remind him to take his meds too.
Because it works out the right time. But actually, I should have taken mine an hour and a half ago, nearly 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only an hour late with these, aren't I?
You know, I might do for one quiz 1 week, Terry. I might take one question from each of the past quizzes and just copy it into a new quiz.
Ooh.
And see who can remember what the answers are.
Wow. Make sure that they're the ones that I can answer.
Yeah,
But
and
that you
Goldfish
answered.
here, so it's not going to be me.
Well, the way my memory is at the moment, you can forget that. That ain't going to happen.
Okay, I've got 2 Wallies so far.
You're going to have to rename this place the Goldfish Bowl soon.
What? You
5
put
second,
in your own
5
bathwater,
second
do you?
memory.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, what?
Goldfish,
Alan-
don't they pee in their own water?
They do other things in their water too.
Yeah.
So you get more
Yeah.
goldfish.
Do you want to know some trivial, useless information? You could be drinking water that, let's say, Julius Caesar peed into.
Yeah, there's a better than 50% chance I'm breathing his air too.
Yeah. And there's a good chance that the water I just drank to take my tablets was at some point peed by a dinosaur.
Possibly. Maybe.
Well, was that before or after they became extinct?
What?
It's not going to be after, is it?
Hang on a second, what?
Oh,
Ola, you've killed Paul now. What have you done to him? Killed him.
that's not Paul, that's me.
Oh, was that you? And I thought it was Paul that was coughing. Sorry.
No.
Holy crap.
Finally killed down. That's the sort of
That's
thing
all
that
right.
Brian...
I had a science student once tell me that fossils became extinct because they could no longer live in their environment.
Fossils
became extinct.
Yeah, fossils.
Yeah,
fossils
yeah.
became extinct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you don't find
Yeah.
any new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the fossils
Yeah.
died out.
And
Yeah, they all died out.
also
That's why you
had,
can only find old fossils.
yeah. And did you know that the climate of the Sahara is such that the inhabitants have to live elsewhere?
Really? I didn't know that. I'll write that one down, Paul. So.
Yeah.
I know it used to be prime grazing land.
It did indeed.
How did you respond to that, Paul? Did you like something like, well, what inhabitants would they be then?
With oven mitts.
Or did you smack him with them? Like, don't be stupid.
No, they're just big fluffy facepalm protection.
Yeah, I know what they are.
The octopus feeds by descending upon its prey and pushing its food into its mouth with its testicles.
So sorry.
It's one very clever octopus, right?
Or very well endowed.
Mm.
Still can't get over cold moonlight thing. I really can't.
Oh, it's just stunningly broken.
Oh, I'll grab that one. Grab Simon Dan. I've got 2 Wallies, a Wolfie, and a Simon so far.
Nothing from Blue.
No, Blue's got his. Oh, the Cavendish. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, the story of the week, or the century, or something. I don't suppose you know the timestamp, Blue, to sort of make it easier.
Name 6 animals which live
yep.
specifically in the Arctic.
Yeah, about 38 minutes, I think, close to where it starts.
2 polar bears and 4 seals.
I reckon the peanuts out there have got no idea what we're talking about.
Of course they don't. Well, I hope they don't.
Well, they should if they watch Blue's video. I've got 30.
I'm just wondering, did the ground move for you too?
Alan. I don't know how I'm going to do this, Blue.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well, I was going to
play
your bit of your video. Where are we at? We're at 38 minutes.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, but I think it's already happened.
No, that's too early. 38 minutes.
Yeah. I'm at 34 there. 37. Well, that's the peak of its oscillation to the left there.
Yeah, that's close enough.
It had everybody stumped, this one. How long was it after you had the discussion that it for what you found out what it could have been?
Well, let's just back up and give everybody a quick background. I was running the final test on Cavendish last Saturday morning, and you can see the clock there. It's 8:38 here local time, which happens to be the same time zone as Haiti. And at 8:29, most everybody's heard about it. There was a magnitude 7.2 earthquake that occurred in Haiti.
Ah.
And it took about 10 minutes for the S waves to reach my location here. But you'll see it's really just sort of starting right now. If you keep your eye on the laser, and you can speed it up if you want to, Terry.
That might be an idea, yeah. Past Lindsay speed?
Go to full, go up to 1 point. Yeah, go up to 2 times. I don't care. That's fine. And you'll be able to really see it a little better now. You see their little red dots starting to bounce up and down. This is about 10 minutes after the actual earthquake event.
Wow.
And that's when those S waves started arriving here eastern Tennessee. And it gets a little worse from that point. And we didn't know what we were seeing. I didn't have any idea what was going on. That's normally only something that I witness when I bump the enclosure physically, just bump into it or bump one of the big lead balls into it or something like that. And you get that vertical.
Yeah, you can see the bounce getting a bit more pronounced now. It's getting more and more obvious.
Yeah. Yep, had me totally confused because we don't. It's just not something you see. When that starts, I mean, something's upset it, and I don't like that when I don't know what the hell caused it. I've always been able to identify what caused it when I see that phenomenon, but this time there was no cause. And
well, there wasn't a cause. Just
probably
one you
an
didn't
hour.
know at the time.
Yeah, you just don't know what. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was an hour into it before we finally realized that there was
it's really
large earthquake.
Yeah, just goes to show how sensitive the setup that you've actually got. I mean, it proves that actually you got it set up correctly because it's that sensitive.
Yep.
You know, it would do that.
Hopping up and down like crazy now.
Bet you didn't realize you'd made a seismometer.
Nope.
Roughly how far away is Haiti from where you are, Blue?
2,200 kilometers.
Wow.
And that, that's quite a distance.
Oh yeah.
But a 7.2 magnitude earthquake is a huge earthquake.
Yeah,
sure is.
So they're measuring that damn thing all over the planet.
Yeah, we were going to do that, Scott, but chemo in and ruined the conversation. I was about to pull this out because we were talking about it, and then it got derailed, so we didn't actually get onto it.
But it was rather interesting, I think.
You can really see that on the vernier as well, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that swinging movement is the entire balance swinging left and right as you look at it on the screen here. That's the entire balance swinging. And that's what causes the dot to bounce up and down. You're changing the angle of the mirror as it swings back and forth. So it doesn't really impede or have much influence on the measurements. It doesn't change anything to do about the torque.
Yeah.
But I decided just to let it continue and see what the day will look like after I got all of the time-lapse video and stuff done. And it was fine.
So you said about 10 minutes, did you, Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right on the money for S waves, for surface S waves.
Yeah. Yep.
Any idea what sort of orientation your rig has to the direction of the waves?
Well, I don't know. I know the beam is the balance is oriented east to west.
Oh, you can hear the excuses now, Scott, from chemo. We tried to show in this video.
I would think, given that you say it's in the same time zone, and given the distance, the waves would be travelling almost north, with maybe just a little bit of west on them.
Yeah, that'd make sense as to why the whole beam's go side to side.
You're in Tennessee, aren't you, Blue?
Yeah.
I think they're it's almost due south, isn't it, from where you are?
No. It's well east of us.
Oh,
I'm very close to the western edge of the Eastern time zone. I say it's the same time zone. May not be. The time is the same. Okay. I looked at that immediately to see what time it was in Port-au-Prince, and it's the same time there, right this time of the year at least, as it is here. Now I don't know if they're on daylight savings or not.
Yeah, you're about your sort of sorry, Port-au-Prince is what southeast from you.
Right.
Between it, you've got obviously Cuba, the Bahamas, Miami.
Yeah, it's quite a bit east of here.
But then the time boundaries follow the state lines, don't they?
Without
No,
doxing you,
that's one of the problems. They don't.
Without doxing yourself, can you give me a rough idea of whereabouts in Tennessee you are, roughly?
Knoxville.
Knoxville, okay.
Yeah, the problem is the time zones don't follow state lines necessarily. They certainly don't in Tennessee.
Annoying.
Well, shit, Tennessee is 1,000 miles. Well, not that, but very wide, 600 miles or more. We covered two time zones.
Wide, the not very north-south, but very east-west one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2,241 kilometers or 1,393 miles.
Right.
What's the predicted time on that for surface S waves?
Well, they tell me it's around 10 minutes.
So yeah, that would be about right then.
I don't have any other way to explain what this thing did.
Well, I mean, if it isn't that, then it's a hell of a coincidence, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that, I guess Cavendish was deciding to fight back or something.
Just give you another little proof.
Gosh, I've run this thing 100 times or more. I've got more than 100 live streams. Most of them are unlisted. Where I've been running these tests. Never had anything like this. What are the odds that you have that happen on the very last one?
And we can prove it's not an anomaly from anything to do with you moving it from when the balls got moved around. So that was at 3.
Right.
That's back when you.
Yeah,
the cameras are on the rig the whole time.
Yeah.
That happens early, and that you can watch it for that whole time. It's just as steady as a rock, like it always is.
Yeah, this is just before you changed it over, so you can see it's as steady as anything here.
Well, I've learned through all of this to be very, very careful about moving those things, because if you do accidentally bang the enclosure, then you get that happening. So I take a great deal of care when I'm moving them, just to be sure that doesn't happen. Well, that looks like I'm.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting to find out any local stations that have recorded this, and find out exactly what time it hit those stations.
Yeah.
That
I need to
like
look
a job
into
for
that.
somebody with PhD Tony's connections.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if there was any movement from any vibrations that you caused, that would have shown up basically here from here on.
Yeah, you would have seen it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, when it's something I do, it doesn't build up slowly like that either, like you saw it do. When I do it, it's immediate and violent usually.
Yeah.
Certainly immediate. Clive wants to know if I've ruled out poltergeist.
Well, first you kind of have to rule them in, which we can't.
I mean, it was a gradual build-up, which kind of correlates with S waves, wouldn't it? Reaching you, it would be, would be gradual, wouldn't it? It's not going to be, like you were saying, it's not going to be a
so
sudden
what time
movement.
did it start? About
8:38. 8:40.
8:40.
That would be 38:40 on the timestamp there. You're at an hour. Go back to 38. 38, 39. Yeah. There you go.
8:32.
So it's definitely moving at 8:39.
And it's still doing it at nearly 9:30. So it lasted nearly an hour. Well, it's an hour now.
Well, the event didn't, but once you upset the balance, it's going to do that for quite a while.
I still see a slight shimmy in the vernier, but the laser makes it
we've
far
got an
more obvious.
hour.
But of course, the thing is, there is no damping on the torsion beam, is there?
Only a tiny bit of air friction.
Sorry,
No,
I should say there is no significant damping.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
There's no attempt to make any damping on it.
I think that's a really good illustration of how little damping it actually has.
Yeah, you see there an hour afterwards, it's still moving a little bit. It slowly dies out, and that's what it will do.
Nice, simple harmonic motion.
Yeah, that was a pretty strange thing to see.
Awesome that you caught it.
Yeah.
And I was saying in the live stream, I can't think of anything that would cause this except something like a seismic event or something. And I asked somebody in the chat checked locally in this local Tennessee area. There had been nothing, of course. But then a little later, somebody came up with the 7.2 thing in Haiti. I'm like, oh, gee, maybe that's strong enough.
Oh yeah, 7.2 is huge.
Yeah, that's a good hour and a half. And it's only just dying down now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, a thing like this isn't going to see a magnitude 4 from 2,000 miles away, but magnitude 7 is 1,000 times as strong.
John said.
So that was my that was my excitement for the week.
Yeah, I remember tuning in on.
It's pretty exciting.
And seeing this, I thought this is something going on.
I really would like to get some people together that know something about seismology, because I certainly don't.
Yeah.
That could sit down, maybe have a little, make a little video about this and talk about it.
And there's the proof that it wasn't you that bumped it. Bring them back again.
Yep.
I was just looking up, the 2011 Japanese earthquake that caused the tsunamis.
Yes,
That was
Carl,
a
you
9.
did wave at me.
That was a 9.0.
So that's about it.
In comparison to the process of watching this thing settle out, which, let's face it, is paint dry kind of level of excitement. Having that kind of event happen in the middle of it is just amazing.
Yeah, but I think one of the nicest things about the these experiments is the number of people that will come and watch it.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, especially the Europeans doing it in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I was a little bit cruel. I've sat and watched this with Blue during some of the early tests for a couple of hours straight. It's mesmeric.
I mean, the nice thing is it's such a simple experiment.
Yeah, it is. It is. You'll find out that running experiments like this are very similar in a lot of ways to flying. It's just hours and hours and hours of sheer boredom, punctuated by moments of excitement.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, it's pretty boring to run this thing.
Well, we could sit here for the next. How long does it go for?
Oh, it goes on.
4 hours 36.
4 hours of it. Yeah,
Oh, we're going to do 2 times speed. Make it go quicker.
Oh, good. We're done in only 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a real time lapse on this. Yeah, crank that sucker up to like.
Well, I could have done it in. I could have done it in slow motion, if you want.
No.
But that was it. That's the last test I intend to run. For the purpose of measuring the gravitational constant, that's the last test. I don't know. Maybe I'll play with it a little bit more for just having fun. But
you gonna make a video about the results and stuff like that, Blue? Or?
Oh yeah.
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 I'm sure you would. Publish the data.
I'm in the middle of writing the paper to document all of this, which is turning into a short novel, unfortunately. I've got one final check that I want to do, which is just verifying the mass of those large weights.
So Blue, your paper on doing the Cavendish experiment, the way Cavendish did it, is likely to be longer than Cavendish's original, then?
Probably. Probably.
I think you've collected a lot more data than he did. Because he didn't have video cameras.
Well, at the moment, I want to be sure that these, because I've verified everything, and I'm going back and rechecking it all, but I really want to be sure that those masses are what I think they are. Because obviously, if the large, that's a direct relationship. If the large mass is off by 1%, then the measurement of G is going to be off by 1%.
Yep.
So we need to be careful about that. At the moment, the once all the corrections were made, the damn answers are embarrassingly close to the actual value of G. To the point, I'm literally looking for ways to make the results worse than they are.
Okay. Quick question for you, Blue. I suppose if you took the accepted value of G, you could measure the mass of the balls.
Yeah, you could actually back calculate it. Sure. Sure. If you knew everything else was perfect, yeah. It would
What
tell
else
you.
you could do from that video? You could take the period of the oscillation of the vertical oscillation of your laser beam and calculate the length of your torsion wire.
Yeah, the only thing you'll get from that is a.
It's just an interesting side calculation for fun.
Yeah. All you're going to see is the period of a gravity pendulum. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. So from that we can work back to because the period's directly tied to the length of the pendulum.
Yeah, right. You get the length of the pendulum from it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, guys. I've got to head off, so I'll catch you somewhere else some other day.
Oh, that's a shame, Matt.
Oh,
yeah,
Matt. By the way,
what?
Just so you know, I did actually mute myself in Discord.
Oh, did you? Oh, you remembered? Oh, that's all right.
I remembered. Thank you.
Well, it's funny. I've forgotten about that.
Oh, that's right. I was going to remind you, Matt, to ask.
Oh.
Sorry, I forgot.
Oh, you were gonna remind me to remind Monk. That's what it was.
But I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot too.
Yeah. Matt, you better remember to. You better remember to disconnect your Discord and unmute if you've got to go as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll be muted when you come back again, won't you?
Yeah. What's Discord again? Forgotten. Don't know.
It's the sound of
that other place we're all connected to a voice call.
Oh, that one. All right. Okay. All right, gents. Good night. I'll see you whenever.
Thanks for your reading.
Yeah, see you.
See you next time,
Matt.
No problem. I didn't do a space news thing, did I? I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Someone else I forgot about.
Well, we'll leave that for next Wednesday then.
Yeah. No
okay
problem.
then.
All right. See you.
Don't forget. I'll remind you.
Yeah. Well, shall I remind you to remind me?
Yeah. You might have to remind me.
To remind me. Okay.
To remind you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I've got to go. See you later. Bye.
Later.
Hey, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Hi, Eric. Okay. Oh, I've got Simon. Oh, sorry, Blue.
Yeah, can I share my screen for a second?
Let me close that so I can see what you're sharing. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, they're just numbers. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah.
I could zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit.
Control and scroll wheel. We'll do it.
Hang on a second.
That's too technical for Los Altos.
There we go.
Look at that.
That's what I was looking for. Now you see the reason for my concern. According to what I'm looking at right now, the first test series missed the predicted value, or the known value of G by 0.5%. The second series missed it by 0.3, and the third series missed it by 0.2. This is scarily close.
What's your average across the three? Have you done that?
All three of them. Well, it's around. Let's see.
It's still going to be around plus a quarter, I guess.
So let's average that. Well, I can't see it on my screen anymore. Yeah, I haven't looked at the total. I haven't tried to combine them. It's a trivial thing to do, but you can see what it's going to end up being is, something slightly above 6.67. Too close for comfort. So I'm literally looking for ways to make this thing worse. Well, because I think people rightfully so would look at this and say, "Oh, this asshole cooked the books here."
Did you make any more progress in accurately measuring your weights?
No, that's the one thing remaining.
Yep.
I want to be sure that I've got that right. Well, I'm really sure that they're wrong right now. I just don't know how wrong they are. Right. I know it's not exactly 22.03 kilograms. If it's 22.02, then it doesn't change these numbers very much. But if it's 25, we're screwed.
Yeah.
John said there's a 666 in there. What does that mean?
Oh,
Number
yeah,
of the beast.
666. Absolutely.
Illuminati confirmed.
Well, let's see.
The standard deviations are ridiculously low.
They are. There's nothing I can do about that. That just stays the way it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
I can't change that. I can't do anything about the confidence interval or the standard deviation or any of that. That's just a fact that's just a product of the data set.
Yep.
I get the feeling your data sets though are much better than anything that Cavendish was able to do. Just because electronically you can take far more recordings from the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can. You can see the data set there, and see how nicely the calculated value of G. I mean, we've got a high one here at 7.04. And a low one here, it's 6.52. There's not a lot of spread in this data. It really just isn't.
If you were to cull the two outliers, top and bottom value, that would just make your results better, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I actually did that on the first test series. I took out the high and the low. But as I got into the second and this third series, I don't really want to force it to get any closer than it already is.
And then it did. You don't want to force it to get closer. It got closer in spite of it.
Yeah.
What
So
Eric
now I
said I
can't
did
fit-
using blue spec sent him calculations for something.
All right, how do I get my damn screen back?
I can help you if you have problems.
Well, make me stop sharing because I can't get my.
Does that help you?
Yeah, that fixed me. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't get my I couldn't get the screen back. That's good.
I like that wave chart that you have for that when you do the tests.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad that we have that because I mean anybody that says, "Hey, Blue cooked the books," no, I didn't. You can go back and look at the damn video yourself. I didn't fudge the measurements. They're right there.
Yep.
Eric said I sent Blue the moment of inertia for the beam calculation.
Oh yeah.
That's what Eric said. And Clive Wells, would you like the calculations? Would be great if you checked them as well. Is that handy, having a couple of blokes grabbing your calculations and then redoing them just to double check the calculations sort of thing?
You'd be foolish not to take advantage of that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Because it only takes a decimal point or something in the wrong place at the wrong time. Something like that.
I don't know anybody that's legit that wouldn't jump at the chance to have their work checked.
Absolutely.
It's like
only a fool turns down that sort of help. Every one of us can make mistakes. I make lots of them, and having another set of eyes on it is a handy thing to have.
Is there anything else been in history that's happened, like for example the one to do with the spinach, where the American paper or New York paper put the decimal point in the wrong place, and then everyone thought that spinach was high in energy and proteins, and that's why Popeye the Sailor was around?
I don't know. Well, you know, the Cavendish paper itself contains an error. A couple of math errors, actually.
Okay.
He says in his paper that he calculated an average value for the density of the Earth is a specific gravity of 5.48. But if you take his data and average it, it's not 5.48, it's 5.45.
Oh.
And there's another math error in there someplace. I forgot where it is.
I like how you're using your Cavendish for your avatar today, Blue, instead of your usual Earth one. And then Monk's got your Earth with the moon, with the eclipse.
Yeah, this is the Discover satellite view. There's your rotating Earth from space globe, flatties. And there's the eclipse.
How long have we been going? Nearly 3 hours here. What have we got?
About and when I publish all this stuff, I will publish the spreadsheets and everything. So
And you've got
anybody
all the
that
videos
wants to
online
take
if
it,
anyone wants to check it.
yeah, anybody that wants to take it and check it, look at it, please feel free.
We've got a 12-minute Simon Dan, the weirdest flat earth proof ever. So I might play that and
Yeah,
Level Earth
he hasn't been
Observer.
looking at your videos, has he, Terry?
And Level Earth Observer's Wally. Pardon?
So he hasn't been. Simon Dan hasn't been looking at your video. If it's 12 if he's doing a 12-minute ultimate debunk.
I'm not sure if he looks at mine. I know I've got I think it's who have I got over in Discord that joined? Conspiracy or Simon? I think it was Conspiracy Cats joined my Discord. I don't think Simon Dan joined. Yeah, I got Conspiracy Cats. I have to see if I can get Simon Dan over here. I'll get rid of that. I'll just play those two videos. But this time, if we watch any of the videos, watch out for the watermark to do with any other media organisations that are in the corner, and if I see that, I've got to be careful. I'll do Leo first and then... Oh, pardon me. And then we'll finish up for the night, because we're lucky we're still going. Touch wood.
It's not even midnight yet.
No, my internet dropouts have been at random times in the day, but I've had them in the late at night, or I've had them in the afternoon, so hopefully we can still stream for this last little bit.
G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Well, Adam, he's having yet another moment of cognitive dissonance. He was watching the docking of the Cygnus cargo ship and, well, let's have a look.
Today the U-2 spy plane is going to shoot down the International Space Station. I've taken, you guessed it, an image from the Cygnus cargo ship, which is supposedly just docked with the International Space Station today. And I've obviously taken an image of James May and his U-2 plane at 70,000 feet.
Obviously you meant previously, Adam. Now look, mate, if you type up your scripts rather than write them freehand on toilet paper, you will likely make less mistakes and sound fractionally more intelligent. And I'll tell you what, you need every bit of help you can in that department, don't you?
And I've blended the two together. But what makes this even better here is we've got the space station up close and personal with us, and then we've got the supposed curvature in the background. Now what really destroys this and highlights the fact this is fake is the fact that the solar panels and the Canadarm and the Cygnus cargo ship are displaying no curvature from the lens whatsoever.
Correct, Adam, and that can only mean one thing, eh? You nailed it, no lens curvature. So you can't blame that now, can you? So there's just one little thing left for you, Adam, now, isn't it? The image is...
Which means the cargo ship, the ISS, have been layered in...
Oh, bugger.
...on top of this curved background. Oops.
And you were so close to the truth too, but you had to go and let all that cognitive dissonance ride up on you, didn't you, mate? You need citation there, buddy, and not just that the layering makes you feel okay with what you're looking at. And it seems that your argument is based on the horizon being flat in the first place. So what if the horizon was actually curved, and then there's no need for layering at all, is there? That seems to be a simpler explanation, Adam. Simpler is more likely to be true. Okay, so that was a massive nothing burger due to the lack of evidence of layering. Oh boy, there's still 3 minutes left of this video. I hope he brings some actual evidence and doesn't just repeat himself over and over and over again like he always does. Let's see what he's got.
Which means the cargo ship, the ISS, have been layered in on top of this curved background. Oops!
No curvature of the solar panels. Surely you don't expect every image from the ISS to be a fisheye like this, do you? Oh, note that this was taken with a 16mm lens. Now, I wonder why NASA thought it's so important to document the focal length of the lens that was used for an image. Adam, any idea?
I've got very basic understanding, so you might have to bear with me. So let's have a look at the layer as I blend the U2 image from 70,000 feet with the International Space Station supposedly 245 miles up, and surprise, surprise, we've got the same amount of curvature yet again. So let's have a quick look. Space Station, 245 miles.
What focal length was the image taken at?
Blended to the U2 spy plane, 70,000 feet.
What focal length was the image taken at?
It's the same curve. International Space Station with the Cygnus cargo ship docked, and the U2 spy plane at 70,000 feet.
Okay, so let me show you my image taken from the ISS, and I'll blend that with the U2 spy plane image by James May. And they don't match at all, do they, Adam? So I guess your theory's busted. And you can't discredit me because look, I've got bendy solar panels and a bendy craft and a bendy ISS truss, so you know there was no layering going on this time, according to Leo logic.
If the curvature being the same wasn't bad enough, proving that it's nothing but optical and not physical, what makes this even worse for NASA is the fact there's no warping of the solar panels, proving the ISS hasn't been filmed by the camera that's filmed the horizon, the curved horizon in the background.
Adam, read your script carefully. You're sounding like a stammering fool who's making it up as he goes along.
It's been layered in. Otherwise we'd see curvature on the solar panels, the Canadarm, and the Cygnus supply ship.
And now we do.
Which means this is obviously been layered in. It looks ridiculous anyway.
Adam, looks ridiculous is not proof.
It looks like computer graphics have been layered in to U2 spy plane footage.
Adam, it looks like is not proof. Those two statements prove just one thing, that you are in the clutches of cognitive dissonance, meaning that you're struggling to accept what you're being shown is demonstrable reality.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on. And if this was true, and of course it was, the curve was as a result of the lens, which of course we know it is, based on James May's citation of curvature for 70,000 feet, then we'd have curvature affecting the solar panels and the Canadarm, just like we've seen in the past. But we don't. Everything's straight and as it should be. The only thing that's curved is the horizon in the background.
And that is because the horizon is meant to be curved, as it should be, and actually is. Don't let the cognitive dissonance get you again, Adam.
Proving that the background is separate to the space station, i.e. the space station's been layered in. Oops! Again, the U2 has just destroyed the globe narrative. 249 miles up.
What focal length was the image taken at?
70,000 feet.
What focal length was the image taken at?
Same amount of curvature.
Which doesn't mean a thing if you don't know the zoom factor of the lens that took the photo.
But like I say, what really destroys this is there's no warping of the solar panels here, which proves 100% the space station has been layered in here. Otherwise, we'd have optical effects of the curved lens, which is obviously curved because you can't have the same amount of curvature at 70,000 feet as you do at 245 miles. We've proved that in the past. The curvature is only as an effect of the optics and not physical.
And the effects of the optics. Yes, like the focal length or the zoom. Come on, Adam, I've showed you this in my very first debunker view. You never learn. Let's have a look.
I would suggest anyone put a straight edge up against that Earth's horizon. You'll see that it's totally straight. I'd like to know how that works on the ISS when we get to see, usually, gigantic amounts of curvature.
We usually see gigantic amounts of curvature. Well, then why are you questioning this? Oh, previous Wally, this is why all flatties question the bleeding obvious. Is this image somehow pandering to your desire for flatness? Ask yourself why dismiss many images in favour of just one. I think that's showing up your biases, Elio. Oh, previous Wally, you nailed it, didn't you? So true, my intelligent previous self. And as Adam here failed to understand, the focal length of the lens also does the same thing. Adam knows this. He has a P900. He's either ignorant or deliberately being deceptive. Or both. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
I'm glad Wally could make heads or tails of that one from Leo.
No, he's dead on about the way that they interpret outliers.
But they just get images and what it looks like.
Yeah. You know, if you are dead set that the horizon is always flat and at eye level, then you'll see fakery everywhere you see something that's not that.
I don't know how many of those we see with the horizon of the Earth curve at altitude.
Oh, it's just fisheye lensing.
And you're not going to see the whole shape of the Earth with the curve a lot anyway from the ISS because you're only, what, 400k up or something?
Yeah. Have you heard the latest thing that they've latched onto as proof that the Earth isn't actually a disk? Is that you can only see the whole disk of the Earth if you're at a million miles.
That's ridiculous.
It's accurate if you understand what he's actually saying, because it was a NASA spokesman or someone who said that, and it's completely accurate if you understand what he's actually saying. But they've taken it to mean that from less than a million miles away, you shouldn't be able to see a big circle. You should only be able to see a part of it from less than a million miles away. No, that's not what he means.
No.
The Earth wouldn't be too big for you to see all of it at once. You just can't see as much of the surface of it. Which is that whole thing with the, you know, here's my globe 6 feet versus 1 foot away and the size of the continents.
Well, you'd never be able to see the whole Earth at once.
No,
that'd be physically impossible.
At about a million miles away is where you can see like almost a tiny fraction less than 50% of the Earth's surface. Any closer than that, and the amount that you can see is smaller. So you can see almost exactly half of the Earth's surface from a million plus miles away.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same as their old argument about why do the continents look so big?
Oh, with that zoom zooming in on
Yeah,
it.
the closer
and
you are,
everything. Yeah.
the closer you are, the less of the surface you can actually see in that circle. Angles to the horizon and all that. Yeah. So of course, the same size of landmass fills up more of that fraction that you can see.
It's funny how convenient it is that L1's about 1 million miles away from the Earth, isn't it? Hey.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, apart from the fact that it's cut off at the bottom, that video I'm showing is about 1 million miles away.
Yeah.
Ozzie, did you take that image of is that Jupiter?
Neptune.
Neptune.
Uranus.
Oh, Uranus. Sorry, Neptune's a different color. My bad.
Make your mind up.
It's Uranus. But it's obviously fake because I can't see any stars in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't see any stars.
So can you even hear me, or is it just not picking up?
No, we can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have the little green square around me when I talk, so I'm not sure if it's picking me up or not.
I see a square or
The Zoom's
rectangle.
not fantastic about that sometimes.
Okay. Oh, we did got the Wally. Wolfie did the one about the equinox is coming. So that's coming up soon. Yeah, I've got time for that. And then we'll finish up with Simon's weirdest proof ever. Oh, that's Simon. You want that one.
So I wonder how many flat earthers are going to do some real science in the coming equinox. During the past 2 equinoxes,
None.
I have shown that the line of geostationary satellites eclipse due to the Earth's shadow because of the geometry of the equinox with the sun over the Earth's equator. Now I'm currently in Perth in a hotel. This trip has blown out a lot longer than originally planned due to the lockdown in Sydney, but that's okay. I bought a new mount and another telescope today so that I can make the observations myself during the equinox. Now this is the monitor inside the room. Shortly I'll go outside and show you the setup. But I use sky charts and SharpCap, and as you can see, I have already managed to locate some of these satellites. Those dots are the satellites and the lines are the stars, because the mount is not tracking anything, it's completely stationary. And that is why the geostationary satellites appear as dots. Now the equinox is still sufficiently far away that the Earth's shadow is not passing over these satellites yet, but that will begin to happen towards the end of August. Let's go outside. I'll show you the equipment. Perth is such a beautiful city. There's Jupiter, and the moon has just disappeared over the building there. This is the new mount I bought. It's a Skywatcher HEQ5 Pro, and I also did the belt upgrade, which I'll play shortly for you. The telescope I picked up today from Bino Central up at Joondalup. It's a Skywatcher ED72. Now the whole setup is run through this laptop, and I've got a camping battery down here. That powers the laptop and the mount, and it will go all night. Himawari 8 is basically where the telescope is pointing, up at that part of the sky. And that satellite is visible from Sydney and also from Broome. Now, Sydney is more than 3,000 kilometres away from Perth and from Broome, and yet we can see the same satellite from each location. It's even visible from Japan. So, flat earthers, I throw down the challenge. If I'm stuck in a hotel and I can make this happen, what is stopping you guys? Pool your resources, put a GoFundMe together.
Where do we start?
Buy the equipment. It's not that expensive. And do some
lack of knowledge.
science. I'll just play some videos now of the belt upgrade on the mount.
They don't even know how an equatorial mount works, let alone
Check out the difference. I'm
what a
halfway
star
there.
is.
This is the new one with the belt,
Hmm.
and this is the old gear system.
This one's going to supersede his other one he's got then. If it's a better one.
It's better than my telescope. Mine's a manual.
Much smoother, and there's no gear play. This has just got a little bit of play in the gears.
Oh.
Okay, so both axes have been upgraded. Let's check it out. Slewing to the sun.
Slewing complete.
Poetry in motion. Despite their claims, there are some flat earthers out there who won't do real science, even if you pay them. And to prove that point, I have offered $2,000 US to a flat earther that some of us know, if he makes this observation during the coming equinox. He has to produce a video showing that the line of geostationary satellites eclipses in the weeks approaching and after the next equinox. How many of us think he will actually do that? I'm not holding my breath.
Okay.
Or attempt and fail.
Oh, they'll find some excuse not to do it in the first place.
Hmm. Oh, sorry. I've got a small. I've got a very small main area. Can't do it.
Now, we all know that's true, but still. Mean. Love it. Did you guys see the crazy Ozzie that MC Toon had on the other day?
No, I didn't get to see that one.
Don't. He's aggravating as hell.
Oh.
Yeah. But he has he's claimed that the sun never rises or sets south of the east-west line, and he's going to prove everybody wrong because you know, because he's done all these measurements obviously during winter. He went out and did them himself, proving that it never happens. So yeah, Toon got him to promise to actually try and do it properly on the summer solstice, and we'll see what happens. Guarantee he's going to duck and dive like they all do.
Well, look what Chemo did with that experiment Jeremy did. Read out all the parameters before the test, and when the test was done live in front of him, started making up different parameters.
Yep.
Oh, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like that. Oh, no, that's not what your initial. things were that you agreed upon. Yeah. I'll finish up with Simon's. That'll do it for tonight. We're lucky we're still here with my internet connection, so.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty well so far.
Yeah. They give us a refund there about a month ago when it was cutting out. They reckon they were doing work in the area, but unless it's to do with everyone being in lockdown and we just they get overloaded in the system somewhere and then we get a cutout. I don't know if that's the reason. But no sooner it gets cut off, it comes back on again. I just turn the router off and turn the router back on again and kicks back in again after a few minutes.
Sounds like an intermittent break or noise on the line.
Yeah.
How old's your router?
Jeez. It's a few years old now. Five-year-old? Near enough? Something like that. We got that when they did the optic fibre to the house. So I don't know what year that was now.
Oh, that's right. You're one of those lucky bastards that can actually get fibre. I cannot.
Yeah, it makes
it would cost them far too much to lay fibre around the shitty old area I live in.
Yeah, we're lucky to get that here.
But we've got, cable TV lines run throughout the whole place. That's good enough for everybody, right?
Okay. We'll finish up on Simon.
Experiences whilst donating money to chosen charities all over the world. And they've partnered with Virgin Galactic, where you right there can win 2 seats on one of the very first Virgin Galactic flights to space. Let that soak in for a moment. You can go to space. Make history and live out your astronaut dreams on one of the first Virgin Galactic commercial space flights. You'll be flown to the home of Spaceport America in New Mexico, where you'll get a VIP tour and a hotel stay to boot. You and your guests will board a Virgin Galactic spaceship where you'll take off smoothly just like an aeroplane. Hovering over 80 kilometers above Earth, you'll see our beautiful planet like never before and experience weightlessness as you float through the cabin. Cameras will record every moment in HD with 12 circular windows for viewing. Every single seat is a window seat. And there's even a mirror to watch yourself floating through space. Following a smooth glide descent, you'll return back to Earth safely, but forever transformed. You'd be an astronaut now. The great charity Omaze are supporting is Space for Humanity, whose mission is to expand access to space, train our leaders of tomorrow, and contribute to a culture of interconnectedness. To potentially win this fantastic trip to space aboard Virgin Galactic and to support Space for Humanity, visit omaze.com/SimonDan. Good luck. Right, back to today's video, where Phuket Word has his eye on the ISS and why it doesn't necessarily prove the globe. This should be interesting.
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Being able to track the ISS, the International Space Station, or satellites and see them whizzing across the sky doesn't prove that we live on a globe. You might think it does because apparently they are doing it according to the laws of Newtonian physics, where things going fast enough and high enough above a spherical Earth will perpetually orbit the Earth as they attempt to fall down.
Well, it is excellent evidence, isn't it, that we see this object orbiting our planet every 90 minutes or so. You could say it's kind of irrefutable, but I'm sure we're going to give it a bloody good try, hey me old chap.
So all you have to do really is go and look at the very first satellite that was put into orbit above the Earth by NASA and realize that this was a balloon and that nothing has actually changed since then.
The ECHO project was indeed a pair of communication satellites that went to an altitude of roughly 1,000 miles. Crucially, these spheres were inflated in orbit outside of Earth's atmosphere. They were physically launched into space.
So let's see how it's possible to have a balloon going around and around above the level Earth, acting just as we see satellites behaving, and understand that there's nothing about Newtonian physics involved. It is simply these balloons being whizzed around in the winds above the level Earth.
Oh right, so there's winds that constantly carry these satellites in a perfect circle over your flat Earth, never changing speed or altitude. Got it. Of course, the speed of the winds required to carry a satellite in a complete circle around the flat Earth within 90 minutes would be around 25,000 miles per hour. The highest speed of wind ever recorded on Earth is 231 miles per hour.
So it says here in this Britannica article, ECHO, either of two experimental communications satellites launched into orbit around the Earth by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, during the 1960s, consisting of aluminium-coated mylar balloons that were inflated after launching. The ECHO satellites were passive instruments, i.e. they simply reflected radio waves back to Earth rather than actively receiving, amplifying and transmitting them.
So this straight away debunks his idea. Where are those radio waves coming from, I hear you ask? Well, perhaps from people on the globe in different locations that couldn't send a line of sight message because of, oh I don't know, the ruddy big Earth in the way?
Nevertheless, by proving the concept of relaying radio signals through space and by demonstrating the effectiveness of current satellite tracking and other ground station technologies, they stimulated a great deal of interest in the development of active satellite communication.
Is Phuket Word here honestly using communication satellites that were designed to help people communicate on a globe as a way to show that satellites can work on a flat Earth? Amazing.
So every mention of the word satellite here is talking about a balloon. ECHO 1 launched on August the 12th, 1960, inflated to a diameter of 100 feet or 30 meters. The satellite was placed in an almost circular orbit at an altitude of approximately 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometers. At this height, it circled Earth every 2 hours. The first transmissions reflected off its surface were conducted between a terminal built by Bell Laboratories in Holmdel, New Jersey, and another terminal built by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Goldstone, California.
California to New Jersey, a distance of around 2,300 miles. If the Earth was flat, then surely you wouldn't need that communication satellite to send that message.
ECHO 1 was used for experimental telephone data and facsimile transmissions. Signals were detected in Europe, although no messages were transmitted across the ocean. The satellite remained in orbit for almost 8 years and was visible as a rapidly moving star in the evening skies. All right, there you go. Seeing exactly the same thing with satellites these days. ECHO 2, launched on January the 25th, 1964, was 135 feet or about 40 meters in diameter. Its purpose largely was one of testing the dynamics of larger spacecraft, though it was also the focus of the first space venture involving cooperation between the USSR and the United States. A radio signal transmitted from the Jodrell Bank Observatory near Manchester, England, was reflected off ECHO 2 and received at the Zimenki Observatory near Gorky, Russia, USSR.
A distance of around 1,750 miles.
Now, Nizhny Novgorod, Russia. The satellite remained in orbit for 5 years. There you go. All right, satellites always have been and always will be balloons whizzing around in orbits above the level Earth. As you can see on the right-hand side here, we've got an illustration of the Echo 1 orbit that is projected above an azimuth projection centered on the North Pole and an azimuth projection centered on the South Pole. It doesn't dictate or confirm the actual dimensions or shape or layout of the continents on the Earth. It is just an example to show you how these orbits, as it said in this article here, are circular orbits above the Earth.
Indeed, but you can't just show some pictures of some satellites that use balloons and then state that all satellites use balloons. What about this satellite? Or even this one? And where is the balloon when people capture the awesome pictures of the ISS?
Which lasts for several years at a time without the need for any propulsion or any need to go along with Newtonian physics.
Of course they need propulsion. And what about your wind theory? That doesn't work. There are no winds 1,000 miles up. What powers these satellites and what directs them? How do they know where to go?
Thank you very much.
Better yet, why aren't their paths circular? What's going on with that?
Like, and the notion that there's something that doesn't have to go along with Newtonian physics. I mean, really?
Well, I mean, yeah, once you get to a certain point, you have to switch over to Einsteinian, but, you know, below that point, Newton explains everything.
Okay, Phuket Word, we get it. There are satellites on balloons. But guess what? There are a lot of satellites not on balloons. And of course, there is the ISS. This has to be one of the weakest arguments I have ever seen in favour of flat Earth. And that's saying something, because I have seen a lot of weak arguments. But wait, it seems that Phuket Word has started making YouTube shorts. And there's one here about the orbit of the ISS. Let's check it out, shall we?
Here's the path of the ISS going around a globe. Here it is on a Mercator map, and here it is above a flat Earth going around the North Pole. And here it is going around the South Pole on the flat Earth. Take your pick.
The globe.
First two.
That was easy. Well, there we go. A fascinating look at some extremely poor reasoning there from Phuket Word. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed it today, then please do like the video and subscribe as well if the feeling takes you. Just enough time to once again thank Omaze and Virgin Galactic for sponsoring today's video. Remember, visit omaze.com/Simandan for your chance to win 2 tickets on a Virgin Galactic flight and go to space. I have been Simandan. Have yourselves a great weekend. And I'll see you all on Tuesday, where we take a look at the science of gematria. Whatever that is. See you then.
I want a flat earther to win that competition just so they can deny they went to space. But you can be an astronaut. You can be classed as an astronaut. No, I didn't go to space. They must have drugged me.
It was a hallucinogen. Flat Earthers will always bring up the most bullshit things just to try and prove their fucking point. That's what makes them hilarious. They're never consistent, they're always fucking hilarious.
The Satelloon things is the most ridiculous one.
I know, right? Because balloons were the first way of transmitting radio signals from one part of the Earth to another part, because we couldn't get anything into, you know, into orbit. So having something that could go high enough was the first step. Then eventually we got to the point where we could send something into orbit. So yeah, we used balloons at first, but now we don't really do it anymore.
What did they think
It's
Sputnik
very
was?
rare.
A balloon?
Well, it was kind of spherical, wasn't it? But the thing about
Yeah.
those two balloons that he was talking about through the first part of the video, they put them in orbit, and then once their orbit was stable, then they inflated them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like they blew them up on Earth and went, off you go, like a weather balloon.
How do they inflate them once they're up in altitude?
Well, you don't need a lot of pressure to inflate it, do you?
No.
Yeah, you need a tiny gas charge, and that's all.
Especially when you think it's all mylar, so it's all, you know, there's not a lot of mass there. But it would make for a relatively acceptable reflector of radio waves.
I mean, the Echo and Echo 2 were put in the thermosphere, I think. So, you know, they were so high up that there would have been almost no KPA at all. So they would have just been able to inflate them with, like, I don't know, I guess you could say, like, well, on Earth it's like, what, a 1.2 KPA. So, but in space, you wouldn't need to insert that much to gain that much. Because it would just spread.
They're just not coming up with anything new anymore. It's just either repeat.
Oh, they are. It's just more bullshit.
Recycle, repeat.
Yeah.
I think if you were to go back and look through some of the older channels, like early Red's rhetoric stuff, you'll find that a bunch of flatties were talking about satellites being balloons 10 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but yeah.
Well,
they
2014 onwards is supposed to be the era that things come about with the proofs that what's his name with his 100 proofs or whatever it was. I think that started a lot
200.
200 proofs, was it?
Yeah, but
you're exaggerating again. You always friggin' exaggerate, Terry.
Didn't somebody go through his list at one point and group them all together and figure out that there was only actually 5 different things he was talking about? Something like that?
What, just reworded them all different each time?
Yeah. Yeah, he just kept repeating the same basic principle in different words.
Yeah.
Look at this example. This proof shows this, and this other proof shows exactly the same thing.
I'll challenge anyone to make it through all 200 without falling asleep first, anyway.
I wouldn't want to do a debate on it.
I'd want to get a transcript and work from that rather than actually listen to his freaking.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. You listen to him, and I reckon after about 5 proofs, you'd be going.
To be honest, the rage would keep me awake.
Rage.
I'm an angry man. Not afraid to admit it.
Well, I have to admit, feeling the way I am at the moment, I could probably fall asleep in the middle of a Simon Dan video.
And you probably would have. Did.
No, I did.
I'm not playing it again for you, Alan. No way.
I pretty much completely missed it.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a lot of wrong in it, so there you go.
Well, obviously. There's always a lot of wrong.
Sadly, there's often a lot of wrong on the other side as well.
Yeah. So we're winding up now, I think, by the look of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have a moment for a very quick physics discussion.
Oh.
My current bugbear is the statement: we don't feel velocity, we don't feel constant speed, we feel acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with that is we don't actually feel acceleration. We feel the force on our bodies if it's unevenly applied, but like if you're in free fall in the vomit comet, for example, you don't feel any acceleration from that.
That's right.
Technically true, yeah. You'd see the acceleration because things are coming towards you a lot quicker, but or moving past you quicker.
I mean,
but
you know, if
yeah,
you're
you
inside,
would feel it physically.
If you're inside the vomit comet, there's no windows. It's just a empty 747 body or something similar.
Yeah.
So all you can see is that you're floating around on the inside of this thing. You don't actually feel it. I mean, it's like being in the space station. You're constantly accelerating towards the Earth and missing. But you don't feel that acceleration. You just feel free fall.
You mean Douglas Adams' definition of flying?
Yes, very much so.
I mean, that'd be fun. I'd want to do that.
I've tried to point this out, and I'm getting so much kickback from people going, "Oh, you can feel acceleration." No, you really can't. What about this? When I throw myself out of a plane, no, I'm not talking about skydiving. I'm talking about staying in the plane while it dives towards the ground at 9.8 meters per second. People are so dumb sometimes.
It's like accelerating in a car. If you accelerated at half a kilometre an hour and it took you, say, 5 hours to accelerate at that half a kilometre increments, you'd still be classed as accelerating, but you wouldn't feel it.
Yeah, it's a little bit different though, because gravity, is being what it is, acts on every part of your body at the same time.
Mm.
Whereas when you're sitting in a car, different parts of your body are like the car's pushing on your back basically, and your ass. So it's accelerating you from there. You get whiplash if it goes too fast. Your vestibular system actually detects the difference in the force, and that's what you feel as acceleration. If you're in free fall, you don't. So it's the force you're feeling, not the acceleration. We can't actually feel acceleration. We can feel force. Or pressure, if you prefer.
Yeah, let's go to the next step and just go KPA. Go full
What is
science.
the kilopascals pressure required to accelerate me at this fast? Yeah.
Well, the KPA on Earth, like the actual force itself, is 101.29. So basically anything above that.
But it has to be applied unevenly. Good stiff breeze.
I think so.
Unbalanced force to get an acceleration. Yes. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're winding down now. Oh, thanks, Alan.
Oh.
Thanks, Monk. Thanks, Hans. Beth, for the A. Was it the A bomb, wasn't it? Not the H bomb.
Beta. It's pronounced beta.
Beta. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not beta.
Like masturbator.
Oh, thanks, Blue. And thanks, Ozzie, for dropping in. You missed the rest of the show, Ozzie, earlier on.
Yeah. Yeah, I was having a quick nap.
Is that the Holden known as Manuel, Terry? What Holden? What are you talking about, Manuel? I missed that bit. We had Death out there, Stewie, Carl, John. I've got to scroll up. Eric. Death. Gary was there earlier. I think Cam Cool was there earlier. Thank God It's Flat was there earlier. Stevie B. Eric. Roof Fondle. I'm going to miss somebody here. Dart. John Rapp. Did I mention Carl? I've got to mention Carl. No, I'll keep it. Clive, Scott. Milkman Dan, I think I seen. Yes, there was a
Yeah, he
Milkman
was
Dan.
out there a minute ago.
Yeah, Milkman Dan was there. Who have I missed? Tag yourself so you can get a quick shout out. Yeah, we'll do a birthday 500 special, hopefully, if my internet still works alright on Saturday. And everyone's invited to that, because Alan said he's going to bring cake. Did you miss Lindsay death? No, we didn't do a Lindsay death, sorry mate. At the Stingray lurking again. Was Dean in here earlier?
Yeah, he's in here now. Just like Terry was the last one he put in not very long ago.
Oh, hey, bye Dean.
Yeah.
He dropped in a couple of episodes ago, didn't he? He said he wasn't doing flat Earth crap. We don't do flat Earth crap.
We do the opposite.
I thought he might have come for the quiz. You got to join for the quiz period, Dean.
Wait, did I miss the quiz period? Oh,
yeah,
God
you
damn
missed.
it.
Yeah, you
that
missed
was
the
my fun
quiz.
part.
You got to come.
It was a fun one tonight.
Yeah, you got to come in the middle of the.
Scantily clad women.
Yeah, you got to come in the middle of the show to catch the quiz.
Damn it.
And the topic was
I was
Captain.
having a nap during that time.
We're doing Captain Cook. We're going to find a bit more on him for next. I'll do some more homework. Where do I find time to do homework? John says, as I said in the beginning, I'm always here, but I am never all there. Okay. Well, you peanuts. What do you expect to be out there? All right then. You're not playing us out, Paul? Any new tunes you've learnt lately?
No.
Nothing.
No, I haven't been on the piano much. No.
Piano, I got mine
Been
out.
too busy at the farm. We spent the day tidying up the farm today, so we either fed everything, poisoned everything, or cut everything down.
I feel sorry for whatever animal it was you did all those to.
I was going to say you didn't wash. You didn't have to groom.
we-
You didn't have to groom your ducks or anything, did you?
No. We fed the ducks and then we slashed all the grass and we poisoned all the grass along the fence lines and, drains and stuff like that.
You're bringing up piano, right?
What's that?
Who brought up
You're
piano?
bringing up piano, right? Yeah.
Who brought up piano?
I got my keyboard like 2 meters away from me.
Oh, we can't play any copyright music.
Any copyright? Okay, I need to think of what I know that's not copyright. Classical isn't copyright, is it?
No.
Right, now I need to figure out how the hell to get my mic and whatnot over there.
Well, usually it picks it up, the sound, to your mic. Paul does it.
Yeah, I got to turn my mic down.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you played like Maroon 5's Memories, you could get away with it because it's just Pachelbel's canon, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I was thinking of. I need to think of try how to get. I was thinking of much to the side of the table. It's a bit closer.
It'll pick it up.
Because mine's a keyboard, not a piano. That's all. It's going to change.
Well, it depends where the sound's coming out of.
Okay. I won't be able to hear any of you because I'm using a headset at the moment, but I'll play a little bit of classic. Like a few seconds, maybe.
He can't tell that we're all waiting. Because he can't hear us.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Patchable's cannon.
Well, we might have to do a piano off with the piano and the keyboard one night, Paul.
Yeah.
All right then. Night panel, night peanuts. While Ozzie plays us out.